Finally got an interview for the dream job, and after working with him, I got it, and it was simple and it was easy.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the journey.
Oh, has it helped? Yes, it absolutely has. It's definitely helped in knowing the market a lot better and knowing how to how to put myself out there. Like, I would never ever have touched my LinkedIn ever. I didn't see LinkedIn as a valuable resource at all. So in saying that, it already has proven to be.
That's what I say. I think you guys are great and change people's lives, and it makes a lot of difference.
You deliver at a very high level.
It was really enjoyable. You learn a lot. It was really easy going step by step.
Questions before I do. So that was, I think session 5, the interview session, if you ask me, was my favorite out of all the 6 sessions.
So it's not only helped me in my personal branding, but it's helped me now on the business side, where I feel very, very capable to go into, you know.
Hey superstars, heroes and megastars, I want to say welcome to a very special edition of the Hot Hire 6 and 7 figure coaches on fire. We have got, oh man, just a jam-packed 3 days with some of the world's best coaches, and there's just some phenomenal topics that we're going to cover. For anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Dre and I'm an authority branding specialist, and I help coaches to build their brand and to also give them a bit of a platform so they can show up online and offline as the best version of themselves. So the reason why we are all here, so I think there's about 96 coaches. There's 2 people that aren't coaches, and there's 100 mini masterclasses. 100 mini masterclasses, so it's going to be like absolutely fire. So the reason why we are here is that we are raising money for 2 charities. One is Rett syndrome, which is a genetic disorder, and it's incurable at the moment, and experts are close to finding a cure. Once they find a cure, that's going to open up the doors to cure other diseases such as Angelman syndrome. So I've got 2 super legends that are helping as well. So we've got Brett Anslow and also Paul Yeo, and their daughters Holly and Sophie suffer from those diseases. So, oh, 6 o'clock. All right, let's get the first person, the main man. Absolutely love this guy. I call him Kevo. Kevin Raymond is, man, he's doing incredible, absolutely incredible in his business. The last couple of months, he's been on fire. And I love this guy because he takes the piss out of me all the time. We have a bit of banter, and he's just a pure guy who's got a lot of love. So without any further ado, I want to give a big, massive, humongous welcome to, I'm just going to say Kevo. Kevo! How are you, legend?
Hey, Dre, how are you doing?
I am absolutely, absolutely amazing. So, Kev, can you just, before I make my way out, can you just tell us, just give us an overview of who you are and what you do?
I'm a business mindset coach. I've got a varied background. I have a leadership background. I've worked in government, and I've been an entrepreneur. And I've taken my background and all of my experiences and put together some coaching that helps people deal with limits, going far, and being great. And that's pretty much what it's all about.
I love that. All right, so that is my cue to depart. So absolutely crush it, and I'll see you in about 20, 25 minutes.
Excellent. Okay, So welcome everyone. As they said, my name is Kevin Raymond. I am a business mindset coach, and I have 3 key elements to my coaching, and it is no limits, going far, and being great. And when you work with me, one of the first things that we address is the no limits. Everyone knows that has some sense of limits or some limiting belief about themselves, or limiting a belief that someone else has put on them, and we break through those. It's like smashing through the barriers of those things that are holding you back, and those are the first things that you have to let go of in order to be successful in your business. Now, I deal with individuals that are both in corporations, that are entrepreneurs, that are just starting a business, working in team management level activities, and wanting to do better and go more places. So the first thing that we always deal with, as I said, is limiting beliefs, and what causes your limiting belief, and getting to the base of that and how that affects your everyday life. And it affects you not only in work, but if you're a student, it affects you at school, it affects you in your home, your family, raising your children. All of those things are impacted by your limiting beliefs. And the only person that is actually setting those limiting beliefs is yourself. So what you have to do is break through that. And we work on finding out what the root cause of that is for you, and why it's holding you back, and what you're afraid of, and what you're afraid of achieving. A lot of people self-sabotage. It's pretty common, and it's really quite remarkable, because you think, like, why would you want to self-sabotage yourself and not do the best that you can do? But there's so many things from people's lives and past and experiences that have that effect on them, and make them believe that they're not capable of doing that. And they're afraid of what other people's reactions are going to be, or where they might end up going, or what they might have to give up, and fear of not knowing what's to come. So that's the number one thing that we deal with in our program. And the second thing is going far. So by going far, I like to get the clients on side to believe that they can do whatever they want to do, and go as far as they go. Just going to go. And in that, you're taking yourself to the farthest limits. And I always try to remind them that we're living really day by day. Although we're planning and making things for our future, planning for our future, we have to remember that we no longer have our past, and we actually don't have our future. So we have to work on today and be the best that you can be in the day that you're in, and take it to the limit. So what I like to say is that I like to say, put in the 5%. A lot of people say put in 1%, but for me, I like to say 5%, because I put 1% on you, always do 1% better for you, and do that extra thing. So even if it's something as simple as going to the gym or a workout, do that extra rep, do that extra lesson, do that extra course, do that extra thing for yourself to make you 1% better every single day. And you'll find that makes a difference. I also encourage everyone to have some sort of meditation program to do every day, because that gets you started, gets you going, and gets you off on the right track. Another 1% that I suggest people use all the time is 1% better in your relationships with your spouse, your children, your family, colleagues, friends, whatever it is. Do 1% extra to give them a sense of encouragement, being better, going farther themselves, helping them out, reaching out for them, that type of thing. It's always great to include those people in your lives and make sure that they have an important part of it. That's very important. Another 1% is better for your environment. Do something good for your environment. Everybody here is struggling. We're having a hard time, and we're not saving our planet or anything, but every little bit that you do that 1% better every day. If you see garbage, if you do recycle, all of that. So all of these things are adding to your 1%, getting to your 5%, so a 5% better every day. Sharing your abilities with somebody else, somebody who needs a hand, a lift up, give 1% to that. Somebody on the street, somebody begging, you have no idea where these people come from, how they manage in their lives. Everybody has different experiences and everybody is going through different things. Your 1% can make a huge difference. And in relation to that, like for myself, my father passed away when I was 10 years old. And we had a large family of 5. My mother didn't work. We were not very well off. So we were kind of, really struggling, and we had a hard time. And my mother had a hard time. And I remember always, my father had like such an amazing attitude. I was only 10, but I remember him having like the best attitude, like always positive, always upbeat. Our house was always filled with love and happiness, and their relationship was incredible. So I still carry that with me. I'm 61 years old, and I still remember those times with my father. And that's what helps me get through hard times and difficulties. And the other person that's really important to me is my mother, because that shows me strength. That gave me strength to see my mother survive such a loss and have so much responsibility with 5 children, no job, and no money, like really struggling. So I've always looked to her for my strength, my 1%, like to do extra every day. As time went on, my mother did remarry, and I think when I was 15, my stepfather kicked me out of the house, and that's when my adventure started, and I was on my own. So I always keep that in mind. Like those 2 people in my life really shaped my life, and even though I didn't have a lot of time with my father, that's where those beliefs of mine came from, and that's where I get my 1% of 1% being better for me, 1% being better for everybody else, 1% giving back, 1% protecting your environment and your surrounding, and having people there for you, and just making everything better. And then the other part that we work with is I call it the 5 levels of management or success in a business. And it doesn't matter where you are in that business, but what we strive for, the majority of people that I'm working with are somewhere between level 1 and 3, and we try to get them to level 5. And everybody can make level 5, but you just have to work on it. So level 1 is being, a good employee, a present employee, and doing your job and contributing. And the next step would be a management position where, again, you're helping people, you're working with people, and you're giving back to those people, training, development, those types of things. Then you're a competent leader. You have teams. You are carrying the torch for the executives on getting all the things right into the middle, funneling all the stuff for successful businesses, and then being an effective leader to have a team of team leaders and bringing them up to the top. And then you have your executive level, and your executive is the one who's contributing by having all of those features. And that's what you want to be. You want to have all of those levels of competence to be the best executive, the best business owner, the best entrepreneur, the best parent, the best person you can be. So that's what we do. We build it up from the bottom to the top. Once you get to the top, you'll know you're successful, because when you're running a business or you're contributing to a business and you're no longer there, that business still functions and it's still producing and it's still doing all of that. And why is that happening? It's because when you're at the top level, you are no longer driven by your ego or fame or the desire to be needed and wanted. You're doing it for the good of the company, of the people that work there. You're able to thank the people that you've worked with and brought you to the top and giving them the credit for it. And that's what it's all about. It's about getting yourself to the top, being able to give back, being able to support your surroundings, and being the best person that you are. And that's what it's all about for me. So that's pretty much what I have to say. If you have any more questions or want to see more information, go to kevtalk.info, and you can see my page there and get all the information that you need, and feel free to join in and have a conversation.
Kev, oh, you absolutely killed it. Thank you so much for that. That was absolutely awesome. I was just looking at I'm not sure if you saw the comments that were coming through. Ladies and gentlemen, the guys that are watching, you can connect your Facebook up to Restream. So if you go to restream.com, You can connect your Facebook there, and then that way I'll be able to see your name and also your handsome or beautiful face. So yeah, do that, and that'd be cool. And if you guys have any questions for either Kev or any of the speakers, then just drop them in the comments. I'll make sure that I keep an eye out for them, and we'll do that. All right, Kev, I've got a couple of questions for you. All right, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky.
No.
Do you have, you got some free resources? You got some free resources for us? So they just need to contact you?
An ebook that I can pop down for anybody that wants it. Actually, if you go to my page, you can just put a request for the ebook. It's in there. And then I've got a masterclass coming up on July 20th at 8 p.m. And that is for public speaking and how to be an effective public speaker. So hopefully people have got a gist of that in my presentation today. We'll see how that goes.
I love that.
We've got quite a few people on so really good.
Oh, sorry, say that again, mate. I missed that.
I was just saying that we have quite a few people on board already. So, you know, feel free to sign up. The more, the better. You know, it's a good thing. I'm going to talk to you about the one thing that you need to make sure that you are an effective speaker, and then 3 things that will help you provide the information and be seen and be noticed in the crowd that you're dealing with, and how to do a better presentation, how to do a keynote speak or a speech or anything that you're doing. Like, you know, you're presenting at work, you're presenting at school, anywhere that you are. These are some of the tips that will help you do that and have a much more effective time.
Brilliant, thank you. Also, just to let the guys know, the guys and girls, that we are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on LinkedIn as well. So there's going to be so many speakers. I think we've got 34 speakers today, 34 tomorrow, and 34 on, I'm just going to drop it, on Sunday, and Sunday is my birthday. All right, but we won't mention that it's my birthday on Sunday.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome. Stop, no. Right, another question for you.
Yeah.
Right, so I know that we're going to have a lot of coaches from all around the world that are going to be like tuning in. Do you have any advice for, you know, someone that wants to get into coaching or wants to have a successful start in coaching? Because as we know, there's only, I think the stats are probably like 4% of coaches that make it to 100K and above. And what we do, the work that we do, it's an emotional roller coaster. It's like life. So yeah, do you have any advice for people wanting to get into the game, and also you know, how to have a good start in their business, in the coaching business?
I think I would use my own experience to answer that question, because I think, you know, you have to believe, number one, what you do. Like, you have to believe in yourself and your capabilities to share your information to the people that you're coaching, and you have to be able to show them and tell them what your skill set is, so that they can understand that and take that from you. And you must be able to allow a person to find themselves, as opposed to telling them what to do. You have to be prepared to do that. All right. Coaches are there to, it's just like a sport. So coaches are there to show you how to hone your skills. And that's what we do. We go in and we work with people and help them dig deep down inside and make them realize that, like, oh my God, I had no idea I could even do this. And they've discovered that themselves, which makes it 100,000 times better than having somebody tell you, you can do this, you can do that. Once they find that, once you break that wall with your client, you will see them constantly improving every time you meet with them, and knowing that, because they're then involved in who they are and aware of who they are and living at cause. And that is, like, for a coach, you have to believe that you can trust yourself to guide your client to get to that point.
I love that. All right, well, another question. What do you love most about coaching and what you do?
I love the fact that, like, I have such a wide variety of clients. I have clients that are, you know, high performing executives. I have clients that are running their own business and, you know, breaking the $1 million mark. And then I have clients who are doing their own little business of being an artist and wanting to improve how they sell their art or whatever. And I actually deal with, I'm working with a client right now that's actually a spiritual, I'm not sure the right term, but so she speaks to spirits and she wants to share that ability with other people. And I should be taking lessons from her because her Facebook page has like 22,000 followers. So it's like,
excuse me, 22,000.
Yes, right. But that's because that is such a huge thing for people, because it allows people, like, she has such a gift. She brings things to that. And that's one of the exciting parts about coaching, is that every day you're doing something different and you're speaking with somebody different, and everybody has a different challenge. And then you're learning from them, they're learning from you, and you're all learning from each other. So it's great. Like, that's for me the best part of it. It's that variety of having all those different people and doing all those different things all the time. And you're learning every day. As a coach, you learn something new every day.
All right. I know that you love dad jokes because you always send me a few, and you tell me that my dad jokes are terrible. I wouldn't put dad jokes and terrible in the same sentence, but we won't go there. And I wanted to ask you if you've got any dad jokes for me, and also if you've got anything inspirational, anything motivational, anything at all that
Okay, what do you want first? The bad joke?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I was going to say let's end on a high, but we'll go for the dad joke first.
Okay, if you're an American when you go into the bathroom, and you're American when you come out of the bathroom, what were you in the bathroom?
Oh, I know it. Go on. Yeah.
European.
Oh, all right. Do you have any more, or was that the only one?
No, I would be too embarrassed to actually think that I found it. So, in terms of inspiration, I would say that again, going back to limits, and don't ever believe that you can't do something, and don't ever believe that somebody else can tell you what you're capable of. I think it's very important that we control our own lives that way, and realize that every single person on this planet is here for a purpose, and every single person is capable of doing absolutely whatever they want if you put your mind to it and you set out to do it.
Well, thank you, Kevo, for sharing. All right, we've got a question from Dave. Do you find that you're applying 3 fundamental learning methods: tell, teach, involve? Great question.
Yeah, like, so you always do. Like, it doesn't necessarily go in that, like, it's not necessarily like a sequence all the time, because everybody is different, every case is different. So you are always involving every aspect of it, and everybody is different. So yes, like, you incorporate all of those skill sets, but the answer is yes.
Awesome. All right, thank you for that. And then I've got a reply down here. I think this must be for your joke. So, okay. All right, Yusuf has found that funny. Maybe it agrees to disagree. All right. All right, Kev, any final words before you depart?
I just want to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do this, and everybody else. What you're doing is incredible, and it's such a challenge in itself to organize something like this, and to get people like us, like me especially, these techno newbies that are not capable of doing anything, right? So it's quite an accomplishment for you, Dre, and thank you very much. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you, and I was so happy to have met you in this whole journey of mine in coaching and all this team. So thanks very much.
Okay, stop. You are going to make me tear up. Thank you for thank you for saying that. So I think you know that I absolutely love you to bits. I love, like, the banter that we have, and really it's who you are, like, as a person, And I know the journey that you've had, like that we all have, like in life, you know, it's ups and downs. But I think the beautiful thing is that like you want to share your gift with the world, and like the amount of people that you're helping is just just incredible. So I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, sharing gold, sharing some value, and you just have an incredible. What time is it where you are? Because you're in what, Ontario?
Yeah, it's 4:30, so or just about.
Awesome. And I'm just getting a message from Lee. So Lee Smith is going to be up next, and she said, "You're amazing. You are amazing, Kevin." So yeah, thank you, mate, and and we'll see you soon.
All right, thanks very much, buddy. Cheers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kevo, Raymondo, first speaker of the day, absolutely crushing it. So we've got probably about 7 minutes until Lee Smith comes out. What I am going to do, I'm going to play a short video. There is no sound, but there is subtitles. And this video is Brett Anslow's daughter, Holly. So this is her story. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so as I mentioned at the beginning, there is no sound, so I will do my very best to get a video where there is sound. Like Holly is a beautiful, beautiful young girl, and also Sophie, Brett and Paul's daughter. So for anyone that is tuning in, what we're doing today and for the next 3 days is 100 mini masterclasses from some of the world's best coaches. So we've got coaches that are 7 figures, coaches that are 6 figures, coaches that are on their way to hitting 6 figures, and also coaches that are just starting out on their coaching journey. We've got some incredible topics like sex, relationships, real estate, mindset, business, finance, marketing. The list goes on and on. Actually, I'm going to talk about orgasmic content, and I'm going to share. So this is Sunday morning, and I'm going to share my framework for getting content where people, reach out to you, you get them excited, and they want to do business with you. So it's really cool. Really cool concept that I've come up with. So you will absolutely love it. All right, so we've got a couple of minutes. I'm going to get Lee Smith out very soon. And guys, if you are on Facebook and you're watching and you want to ask us questions, jump onto Restream, to the Restream website. So restream.io, connect your Facebook with Restream, and then that way I'm going to be able to see your picture and also like your comment. And if you've got any questions for the speakers, don't be shy. Ask us the questions. We absolutely love it. All right. Lee, can you hear me? Are you ready to come out a few minutes early? Yeah, I reckon she's ready. All right. So this next, I'm going to say superstar, aka megastar, is right. You're probably gonna hear me saying this most of the day, that one of my faves. They're incredible. But these 100 speakers, like, absolutely absolutely are. So I've got so much love for Lee. We've caught up so many times. She's doing some incredible things in the world. And if you've ever heard of Les Brown, you know, the American motivational speaker, she is going to be speaking on the same stage as him. So how frigging cool is that? I'm going to try not to swear. Actually, disclaimer. Over these next 3 days, so we're going to be starting at 6 a.m. Sydney time, going on to 11 p.m. There may be a little bit swearing from, I'll do my best to keep it down, but from some of the other speakers. So please don't hold it against us. It's just that we are very passionate about what we do. All right, so Lee, just an incredible human. All right, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to get her out here. So I want to say a big, massive, humongous welcome to Lee Smith. Hey, superstar, how are you?
Hello, world. How are we doing today?
Absolutely amazing. Firstly, I just want to say thank you for donating time and money to be with us here today to share what you're about to share. I'm really excited. So quickly, before I depart, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and who you help?
Well, let me start off with a massive thank you, Dre, first and foremost, for this opportunity. And to be able to donate my time and resources is the least I can do for this incredible cause for Brett and Paul and for their daughters. And I hope that if you're watching, if you are listening, you'll find a space in your heart to make a donation yourself. And nothing is too small. And every little small action can have massive ripples. And when you give, you'll find that you'll receive so much more. And so I just had to give that little bit of gratitude because that's where we got to start. And if you don't know me, hello, I am Lee Smith. I am coming to you from Reno, Nevada. So while it is early morning in Australia, it is mid-afternoon here in the Western US. And I am the performance coach with UPCYCLE Coaching. And UPCYCLE means to process something so as to make it better than what it originally was. So it's my intention to share with you my story, my insights, my teachings, and take you through this process over the next 15, 20 minutes and make you better than what you originally were than when we first got together. And I'm so excited to be here with you. And so I just have a few questions to kick this off. Is that okay? That was first question, right? So here we go. Are you someone who wants to make more money? Give me a yes. Drop it in the chat. Are you someone who wants to feel more alive? You would love to have more energy throughout your day? Give me a hell yeah in the chat. And if you are someone who wants to enjoy richer relationships, are you too busy? Are you caught up in the day-to-day of life and you're like, I really want to be present and be fully alive with my relationships? Then give me love in the chat. And if that's you, guess what? That's me too, right? I would love to be making more money. Not because I want to be a Scrooge and just stock up my bank account. No, I want to use that as a tool to give to great causes like today's cause, to be able to travel around the world and serve others who can't tune in for whatever reason. They can't make it to a live event. I want to go to them and show up and serve them. And it takes money to do that. And I want to feel more alive because isn't that what life is all about? It's feeling full alive. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to be on all the time, but it's taking in our experiences because every day is a gift. How do I know? How do I really know every day is a gift? First and foremost, there was a major accident about me coming into the world. My mom was 8 months pregnant and she fell downstairs and she had massive bleeding. She got to the hospital just in time and she went unconscious. And when she came back, the doctors told her, 2 miracles happened today. Number 1, you're alive. And number 2, you have a healthy baby girl. There was another time where life happened and I know that I'm meant to be here and that life is a gift. And that is when I was 9 months young. I was in a place in the United States where there was a hurricane coming in one direction, a tornado touched down in another place. And I was in a home lying on a bed. Initially, I was sleeping through the entire storm, if you can believe this. And in a moment, I was crying feverishly. And my mom didn't understand what was happening because she was at another part of the house praying for our safety. And at first, she was ignoring me. But then she thought, okay, maybe I need to go and scoop her up. And when she came to scoop me up from the bed, and as she was stepping through the threshold of the bedroom, a massive wind came by that knocked a tree onto another tree, onto the house, right onto the bed where I was. Life is a gift and it's meant to be lived fully. Next chapter, when I was a young teenager, I got myself into a social situation and an internal situation where I felt like the world didn't want me. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this world either. And I attempted to take my own life. But I'm still here. There was a miracle message that came through where I felt this outpouring of love from the universe and said, I have great plans for you. Promise me you will never do this again. And as you can see with the rest of the story, I'm still here. But my life doesn't end there. No, I had another chapter when I was in college. And I did something adventurous and foolish because when you're in college, you feel invincible, right? And the long and the short of that is that I fell asleep at the wheel driving a car, had a massive car accident, some broken bones, but no internal injuries, no massive concussion. I was in the hospital for 11 days. It took me about 3 months to fully recover. That same week, another female in another state who was maybe a couple years younger than me, she also fell asleep at the wheel. And that was the last of her. And yes, life happens, and we never know when our time is going to be up. So it calls us to step into our purpose, and it also challenges us to take each moment as precious and to live it fully. And one last chapter that I want to share, and this is what brought me into doing what I do today. I was in a massive depression, which was crazy because I was in the middle of fulfilling my dream as a stay-at-home mom. At that specific moment, I was in a really strained place in my marriage. But the real incident was I was standing on the beach of one of the Hawaiian islands. I can't remember which one because I was privileged to see 4 of them during this holiday. But what I do remember is I'm watching this sunset, this golden orb setting on the sapphire ocean, and it's painting the sky in pinks and yellows. And there's a soft breeze coming through the salty air, and I'm standing there with my family. My husband, with whom I had been married for 15 years, my stepson, who had moved out of the house, but he was with us and with his girlfriend, and then my young teenage daughter. And I was thinking to myself, I'm having a moment that not everybody gets even once in a lifetime. So why am I just standing here thinking this? I wasn't feeling the moment. And friends, that was when I became aware that I was in a depression. And later, I thought about how long have I been in this? But in that moment, I said, I want to reflect on this, but right now I just want to say enough is enough. I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't know quite how I got here. I'll work on that later, but right now I just say this stops here. I'm making a change. I'm drawing a line in the proverbial sand and I'm stepping over it and I'm never looking back. And this is when I came up with this concept that I want to share with you today. It is the anchor of everything that I do. And it's the realization that every single one of us, every 7 plus billion individuals around the globe, you have a superpower. It is a superpower of choice. And we get to use that choice moment to moment to moment to moment. And what is that choice? That choice is choosing. Will you be a reactor where you see yourself stuck in the middle of all the things? Life is happening. Is it happening to you? Is it happening for you? There's expectations. There's the to-do list. There's so much going on. You're busy, 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 trying to get it all done. And you're living by circumstance and convenience. Whatever comes at you is what you're going to deal with. And maybe you're ticking some things off and you're accomplishing some goals, but I venture to guess that you're slipping into bed exhausted. And you're thinking, I get to wake up tomorrow morning and do this all over again? And I want to transform you by helping you take yourself out of all of the things. See yourself first so that you can get clear on what matters most to you. You set those priorities and those intentions, and you live by commitment. And you become the creator of the day that you want to experience. The week, the month, the year, the life that you want, designing it on your terms. So my friends, how do you want to see yourself? As a reactor or as a creator? See, standing in that moment and realizing I had been depressed, I didn't know what made me happy. I knew like, oh, I know what makes my husband happy. I know how to appease my stepson. I know how to bring a smile to my daughter's face, but me? Oh, it was time to start creating. Instead of reacting to anyone's particular desire, reacting as a people pleaser, it was like, nope, self-care with Lee. I gotta learn, who am I? What do I love? What makes me happy? And take care of that. Because my cup was beyond empty. And my friends, we cannot pour into anybody. I don't care how much you care about them. We cannot pour into someone else if our cup is empty. And if we identify as a reactor, we see ourselves in the middle of all the things, that cup will forever be empty. Or it fills and empties, fills and empties, fills and empties. And where does that lead us? Burnout. But if we can see ourselves first and we can love on ourselves, then that love becomes overflowing. And from there, we pour into others. So real quickly, I want to give you 5 tips. We talked about the C in reactor and creator, right? I want to give you 5 C's to confidence. It's some of my best work, and I hope it's okay to share that with you. And if you like the idea of C's, drop me a C in the chat. I'd love to see you doing that. The first is clarity. Getting clear. Do you know what makes you happy? What gets you lit up? What makes you jump out of bed? What gets you excited and helps you to feel so alive? And when you know what that is and what you truly want, what matters most to you, then it's time to commit, which is the second C. Commit to attaining that, because I am an example of life can happen and you can still make your dreams come true. I am an 8-year-old dreamer of a massive global world-class speaker wanting to take on the world, coming to you from a 50-year-old body. And so seeing the best. So we start with clarity, knowing exactly what you want. And then we commit to getting that, getting what you truly want. And when you commit, There's a strong why. Why is this so important to me? Why does this matter to me? Why do I feel compelled to do this? Why do I feel called? Why am I so passionate about it? And it's in that why. When you know that why and you step into that commitment, the how starts to unfold. You don't have to know it right away. The how starts to unfold and go one step at a time. The next C is taking courage. It's like, okay, I commit to becoming a speaker. I'm going to go and share my story wherever I can. Can I really step up in front of other people? It's going to take courage to make that happen. Yes. And when you take courage on just the next tiniest step, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, Lee, if I were imagining myself as a public speaker like you, to get on a stage, what? In front of people? How about just stepping in front of an audience of one? Maybe it's just the reflection of you in the mirror. And can you just share something for 2 minutes? It may be the tiniest, babyest step, but with that bit of courage, you're moving yourself forward. And it's just one little step after another. And as we move towards confidence with courage after courage after courage, you'll be on that big stage before you know it. So we've gotten clear on what we want. We've committed that we're going to make it happen. We've taken courage. And now, as we're doing the actions, we're doing those baby steps, we're gaining competence. At first, we got to be willing to be horrible, right? I'm trying to keep it clean here. We're going to be a hot mess, but we're going to do it anyway. And as we keep moving forward, we realize what's working, what's not working, how can I improve, what do I need to do differently? And we gain that competence. And my friends, when you put those 4 steps together and you keep doing it again and again and again, you're going to build the confidence. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to do your way into confidence. So I hope you found those 5 C's helpful. And if you want to know more about what I do and how I can help you boost your confidence or help you to really step in fully into being a reactor, because what I want to do is I want to see you and I want to celebrate you. And that's what I'm doing here today with you, with Dre, with Brett and Paul and their daughters. Together we can do this. And you can find me on Facebook at Lee Smith. You can also find me on LinkedIn at Lee Smith. And it's L-Y, like love yourself, but it's pronounced Lee. So think differently. You'll always remember that, right? And also, if you want to go to this link, it's bit.ly/G, the number 3, and then lowercase CALL. So bit.ly/G, the number 3, call. That will send you to my calendar link, and we can have a 30-minute conversation. Maybe we talk about the 3 Gs. Maybe we talk about one of the 5 Cs or confidence, or we talk about whatever your biggest challenge is. I am here for you. And again, I see you, I celebrate you. Let's empower your possibilities and continue to make it a great day.
Somebody call the fire brigade because you are on fire. Absolute fire, Lee. That was gold. That was pure gold. Thank you so much for that. I love the 5 C's, especially. I actually love the, the reactor and the creator. It's like really powerful. Lee, have you got time for a couple of questions?
Of course, I'd be happy to.
Cool. Awesome. For the legends that are watching, drop your questions into the comments. Lee, my question is, what are some of the biggest frustrations or challenges that you see with your clients at the moment?
This world of uncertainty. They don't know financially. There's things all over the place. I hear that COVID is resurging in a new strain. So we're thinking, what's going to happen with that? How is that going to impact us? even wanting to do something simple with traveling and our fuel prices. I don't know if this is around the world, but certainly here in the States is a big struggle of like just knowing you have to be mindful driving across town and which vehicle are you going to use, or maybe it's time to get a more efficient vehicle. Just those little bits of uncertainty, it adds to stress, and it impacts our physical health, it impacts our mental health, and they're looking for that clarity. And so when I can help my clients get super clear on what they want, I can say it's okay to feel the uncertainty, but we can work through that. We can make certain things happen. But if we are unclear and we're thinking, oh, I'm coming over here or I'm coming over there by this distraction, or if we're paying too much attention to the news and getting caught up in what's happening and, oh my gosh, how is this going to impact me? This is what my little nephew does. It's too much. He puts his hands there. It's too much. It becomes too much if we have so much uncertainty, right? And uncertainty is always going to be around. We need to accept that it is what it is. But when we get clear, we have to have that clarity, that first C, the clarity. What is it that I want? And things can still be uncertain around us, but we're going to be able to roadmap ourselves through it.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Got a question from Dakota the King. All right. How do you help your clients overcome their limiting beliefs? That is a great question, because everybody
Yes,
has
fantastic
limiting
question,
beliefs.
Dakota. Thank you. Here's what I love to do. If we can identify what those limiting beliefs are, because we are aware of them, then I have some modalities like neuro-linguistic programming or NLP that I can use to help my clients with that. If a client is like, what is a limiting belief? I don't know what that is. I just know that I've got self-sabotage going on. I've got procrastination. I am just not accomplishing my goals. I don't feel motivated. What do I do with that, Lee? Here's what I love to do with them. I say, what does it look like when you do accomplish your goals? What does that feel like inside of you? Because when you can see that person, when you see yourself being successful, that is your future successful self. And then we look at, this is who you are today. Here's your future successful self. There's a bit of a gap. We're going to close the gap. But it first takes seeing that successful person. And then I help you through those 5 C's, building that confidence and getting you to that future successful self. And when we envision that, we can only envision that if somewhere inside of us, we believed it was possible. So we empower that possibility. We get intimate with that FSS, future successful self, and then we take the actions to close that gap. And then you know what? The limiting beliefs don't matter because you're there.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Lee, do you still have a few more minutes?
Of course.
All right, cool. All right, so for, say, people that are wanting to get into coaching, because I know that there'll be a lot of coaches at a lot of different levels that are watching this, what would be, like your top 3 tips or your biggest advice for people to, because there's a lot of coaches that get into it, some dabble, they'll put like one foot in and one foot out, or they'll give up when it gets too hard. So what would be your top tips to be successful and to also to stick at it?
Sure. Why do you want to be a coach? If that's a tug on you, there needs to be a carved out time where you sit with that. Why do you want to be a coach? And then what area? There's so many areas, because coaching really is you being a few steps ahead of someone else, and you're helping someone who's that few steps behind get to that level of success, right? And you're continuing your education and your growth, and then you're just helping the other people. And so we can do that in any area of life. We can do that with sex and money and relationships and health and fitness, mindset, productivity, name it. So is there a particular subject or area that gets you super excited? For me personally, it's because when I was 7 years old, I became aware of my self-talk and realized, oh, I can think negatively of a situation and woe is me and life is horrible and the world is cruel and why would I want to be a part of it? Or, hey, things happen, but life can still be fun and I can play with this, or I don't have to take things personally. And so when I realized, oh, I have this whole self-talk and it can guide me in the way it makes me feel, depending on my self-talk, and I can make things happen or I can make things not happen, or I can make things worse or even better. And so I really started diving into self-talk, yes, at the ripe young age of 7 years old. And now that we have a whole library of neurosciences that talk about the power of self-talk and what it does for us and how we can empower ourselves. And so looking at what area do you get most excited about? I mean, you got to be willing to obsess over it. Otherwise, you will dabble or you will give up when there's an obstacle. And then to become successful, it's recognizing that this is a long term. And by long term, typical success takes 10 years. Are you willing to commit 10 years of your life at least? For me, this is till the day I die. I am so passionate about what I do. I love what I do. I get to learn so much about myself. And as I learn about myself, I can then teach others in learning about themselves and show them that they are incredible human beings. So looking at that long term and recognizing, okay, it's like the 5 C's, right? Okay, I get clear on what kind of coach I want to be. I commit to the process, learning and being willing to show up and serve others. And then I got to be courageous and step out. I have to put myself out there, because if no one knows who I am, then how am I going to help them? And we got to be courageous in our learning and courageous in our giving. And then we gain the competence as we start working with our clients, right? But if we give up on the first client, how are we going to get competent at what we do? And as we get more competent, then we gain the confidence. And as we gain that confidence, we'll move into a 6C, if you will. And that's credibility. People start saying, oh my gosh, Dre is just an amazing coach on branding. I mean, if you want to get your name out there and you want people to be attracted to your name and what you do, oh, you got to go talk to Dre, because he just makes it boom. And who doesn't want the boom when they're trying to get that branding out there, right? So really looking at those things long term and knowing, and here's the reality, you've got this dream of being a coach. You got to set in the reality too, that obstacles, challenges, emotional roller coaster, they're going to be part of your journey. Are you ready to embrace that? Because if not, when you hit that first wall, you're not going to be ready to get back up. And just recognize it's part of your growth. And what I do when those things happen, I go, oh, hey, I knew you were going to show up. Hi, fear. Hi, self-doubt. Hey, emotional roller coaster. Whee, let's do this. And we keep moving forward. So I know that's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope it's helpful for the audience.
Yes, definitely helpful. All right, let me just steal you for another couple of minutes, because I know that you love public speaking. And when we've had conversations, you said that when you were younger, because you know it's everyone's like, well, most people's biggest fear, that you were like, I'm stepping into this. This is what I'm born to do. Can you talk to us a little bit about, maybe, do you get nervous like anymore, or you don't get nervous at all? Or
Oh, of course, of course. See, here's the fun thing. Our body, our physiology doesn't know the difference between being nervous and being excited. I heard this wonderful story today, as a matter of fact, and it was about an interview with Annie Lennox from the Eurythmics and Bruce Springsteen, the boss, right? And Annie Lennox was known for her stage fright. And so before she would get on stage, she would get all sweaty palms and she would pace back and forth and her knees would start to crumble underneath her. And then she would take the first step on stage, grab the mic, and she would perform anyway, right? And they asked Bruce, because he seemed so confident, he was known for go, go, go and making things happen. So they said, Bruce, what's your routine before you step out on stage? He's like, oh, I get sweaty palms and I pace back and forth. My knees start crushing under me, but I grab the mic and I step out on stage and I rock it out. The exact same physiology, right? But it's a different psychology, a different mindset. but I like to say I love to have fun. I love to play with words and things like that. So for me, I get nerve sighted. So I get nervous
Feeling
and
that.
excited. Mash it together. I'm nerve sighted. That way my brain can't go, wait, which one are we? Both. Living it to its fullest, right? And I just step out and knowing really that my being here, it's not about me, friends. I love doing this. It is my number one passion in life. But I'm here because of you, because I believe in my heart that there's a message that you need to hear, and I'm the only one who can say it in the way that you need to hear it. And maybe it's not every single person in the audience, and that's okay. But the people who need to hear it, I need to show up for them. So I'm here for you.
Lee, you are amazing, absolutely amazing. So firstly, I just want to say, yeah, thank you for coming on again to give up your time, like to contribute and just to share gold. Like every time I see you like speak, you're just sharing just gold after gold after gold after gold. And also I want to say a massive congratulations for, when are you speaking on the same stage as the one and only Mr. Les Brown? That's huge, absolutely huge.
Actually, I don't have a specific date. I know it's coming, the date that I had originally planned. I have a conflict because I have my own event happening at the same time. So I thought, oh, I can't be out doing my retreat and be in Florida at the same time. I haven't figured out how to clone myself.
Retreat.
So it's a retreat. Yes, it's helping 6 amazing women find their confidence, in an outdoor retreat. So it's going to be super exciting. That's happening in the last weekend in September. So yeah, super excited for that. But I will keep you posted. And I know my time window is closing out. And Dre, you know I love sharing jokes with you too. Can I share one with you?
Yes, I forgot. Yes, please. Yeah.
All right, are you ready for this? Where do bad rainbows go?
Oh, I know. I don't know.
They go to prison. It's a light sentence.
Boom, boom, boom. Shake the room, Lee. Absolutely love you to bits. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for the joke. I love it when you send me jokes saying, Dre, I've got a joke for you. So I love that. Love what you do. So yeah, thank you for being so amazing. You get out of here and have, like the best. What time is it where you are?
It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh man, you got the whole day ahead of you. So enjoy. Appreciate you so much. I value you, and catch you soon.
All right, cheers.
All right. See ya. All right, and we've had a couple of people laughing at Lee's joke. All right, thank you, Michelle. All right, so the next guy up is Mr. Thomas Jordan. What a cool name, Thomas Jordan. So love this guy. We've caught up quite a few times, and his knowledge and experience about business. So he's a business coach. I'll get him to tell you all about that. He's just an incredible guy who's had like an incredible career as well. So without any further ado, I want to give a big, massive, humongous welcome to my main man, Thomas. How are you, legend?
Hey Trey, I'm doing well, and how are you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm brilliant. Really excited about like today. It's been like an awesome start. And before I let you loose, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and the clients that you help?
I will, but first of all, for everyone who's typing, commenting, because some of them are on Facebook, some of them on Restream, so please give a huge shout out to Trey, to Kevin, to Lee, who are doing all an amazing job, and I really appreciate it, delivering so much gold. So I'm feeling honorable to be the next one in this row, and so yeah, I give you a round of applause. for doing
thank you.
this,
Appreciate
because I know
you.
we were chatting yesterday, and Trey was all over the place, and still he was able to jump on a short call to help. So Trey is an amazing guy. So really awesome. Yeah. So about me, I'm an entrepreneur since 15 years. I have several businesses. Why I'm here right now is also why I'm a business coach for coaches. So I help coaches, startup coaches, or part-time coaches to move to full-time coaches. if you're a corporate or if you're just having started as coaches. I'm the guy who helps you to grow fastly without working more and being yourself and not sell so much. And this is what I want to talk about today. So creating a fulfilled life and not just a hustle life.
Awesome. All right, Thomas, I will leave you to it. Thank you for the kind words. It means a lot. And I'll see you very soon.
Cool. Thank you. So type in the chat if you want to have a fulfilled life. Type yes, 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 or no, no, no. It's just important for me if you're even looking for a fulfilled life, but maybe you don't. So type in the chat yes if you're looking for a fulfilled life. So the first yeses are coming. Thank you very much. And also type in the chat if you want to have some fun in your life. Because I think for me, fulfillment and fun needs to be one. Because there is no fulfillment without fun, at least for me. So type in the chat yes or fun. Cool, awesome, thank you. So the thing is, when people wanted to start businesses, and as I said, I'm helping coaches to start the business or to get to the full-time coaching business, but it counts for everyone business, for every kind of business. So you have an idea, you want to do something, and this is all good, all great, and there will be some struggles pretty soon. When the first excitement passes, like, so, yeah, let's do that, there will be probably some struggles. And this was me 15 years ago when I left my corporate job, when I had literally had my 30th birthday, or it was shortly before my 30th birthday, and I was thinking of being an entrepreneur since a couple of years, and I always had no idea what I'm gonna do, and I was turning circles. And then I was saying, okay, now I'm 30, I need to start a business. If you don't do it right now, if it fails, I can go back to being an employee. That was my mindset, my belief at that time. So it was somehow, let's try and let's figure out. So I started a business together with with a best friend at that time. And I had no idea. So I was really like just jumping into this business. It was an exhibition build standing business. And we had a great concept. We had great resources. So we were not limited. It was really, really cool. We thought not taking a lot of financial risks, but I didn't know how to get clients. And I know that it was literally the second week after this. Yeah, we have our office. Everything is cool. We got there. And so we had a whole list of companies we can call who were the exhibitors at the fairs. So I was starting picking the phone calling, and yeah, do you have references? No, we just started. Yeah, okay, then call back when you have reference. And I was okay. Next one, I hit the same. Next one, I hit the same. After 10, I stopped working for the whole day. Next day, I tried to motivate myself. The same happens. And this will happen in your business again. Again, it doesn't matter at which stage you are. If you want to go to the next level, there will be these challenges. And that's why, for me, what I learned in that business, it is so key to figure out how to set this business up, but not with the strategies itself to do the steps, but more like inside you. And this is what I want to share with you, because there are 3 things which are super key and super important, which you need to consider, at least in my point of view and in my experience, which works really well when you do that. So, and these 3 things are, so you can look this as a triangle. And the first thing you need to consider is you. Oh, so you don't see this. You need to be in this. You need to be the first step. And this comes exactly aligned with what Lee was just telling us, because you need to be the creator. You need to decide who you want to be, even as an entrepreneur, how you want to be seen in the world, how you want to be, how do you introduce yourself, what identity do you take? Because you can choose of a lot. You all have probably massive experiences. But the key is, what identity do you take at that time for that business? And you can choose, but be the creator. Don't try something because you see someone other is doing that and you think, oh my God, he's doing so good. He makes millions and it looks like he has no work with it. So I want to do that too because it's so easy. Maybe for him it's easy because he is gifted with values, with experiences, with know-how, which made him easy for him, but maybe not for you. So don't try to model people which is not aligned with your values, with you. And I know someone will kill me for saying that, but then some Tony Robbins and many coaches says, or many successful business people say, hey, success leaves clues. Yes, it does, but it doesn't mean that you have to follow them all. Because the key why you need to be you is you need to identify this on the long run. And I want to share you my experience with not being me in my first business and what happened, because we had hard times, 4 years. I was struggling with this business for 4 years. We were almost 2 times bankrupt within 12 months. We were threatened to be sued because we did some really big mistakes and so on. And so I decided to leave this business. And this was not easy for me because I started this business with my best friend. And as you can imagine, when I get out of this business, this was not the easiest conversation. And finally, I stepped out and I started 2 new businesses. One is my engineering business and one is my coaching business at that time. It was a life coaching business. And I was deciding, okay, I will go on vacation. I had so hard time. We worked a lot. I go to vacation. I went to Oman with my girlfriend and then to Thailand to do some yoga, which I love because this place in Thailand is so wonderful. There, I met these super nice people from all around the world. They were literally my friends and I was really looking forward to see them, to practice yoga together. And when I was in Thailand, I started to feel fatigue. I didn't want to do the exercises, the practice. And I told myself, okay, it's okay. You worked so much. I just go to rest. Just go to the meal times, talk with some friends, and the rest I was staying by myself. And then I was coming back. At that time, I'm Austrian, so I was going back to Vienna. And it was shortly before Christmas. And then all this Christmas thing was happening, and it somehow was covering my real estate. But shortly after Christmas, it happened that I just needed to put a couple of boxes from my old office to my new office. And I'm this high achiever. I'm this high performer, and I have fun with it. I have fun reaching goals. It makes me, it fulfills me in a way, but in the right way. You need to. And that way, I was not able to take just some boxes to go there. And I was laying at the couch. I didn't want to see my friends, my family, my girlfriend. All I could do was laying on my sofa in the living room and staring to the ceiling and asking me 2 questions. Why me? Why now? And these 2 questions came again and again and again. And at that time, I had no answer to that. And somehow I realized that I was doing everything until this moment. I was doing everything because of the money. As an employee, as an entrepreneur, I was doing everything because of the money, because I told myself, when I have the money, I can do things differently. When I have the money, I can change. At that moment, I realized I need to change first, then the rest will follow. And then I had no idea how to change. And there I started to dive into that. What are my values? Why I'm here? Why I'm here? Why do I live this life like this? Why when I want to be the creator, but sorry for what the fuck, who I am. What do I want to choose? What suits me? What I really want to like? So I needed to decide all this. And when I took this decision, I started the mentor that I only work with people who value myself and my work. And I'm doing this up to now. That's why it's so important when you are thinking about your business, or when you are still running your business and you are struggling with business, find out who you are. Find out who you are, what you want to do, what are your values, what are your highest values, your purpose values. Why are you here? What do you do every day which makes it fun for you? Enjoy it. And then try to find this and make a business out of it, or try to find this and include it in your business, or just pivot a little bit, because mostly there's not a lot of missing, not a big gap. Because when you know who you are, then the next thing is you need to find who you like to work with. Which type of person is the person who you like to have fun working with, who you enjoy. When they call you, when they see your call on the mobile phone, they say, cool, I want to work with this guy or the lady. Knowing who you are and knowing with whom you like to work is the two things which are necessary to create any business. And especially when you're a coach, you 100% need to know with whom you like to work and who you know. Let me take another metaphor, because just imagine you are sitting in a car and you're using your mobile phone for the navigation system, and you say, I know, because this is what most people do. I know who I like to work with. I have this fun. So you know the exact address. So you type in the address into the mobile, in the navigation system, and then you press start, but there's no reception. So this whole device doesn't know how to guide you to the goal. And this is what happens when you don't know who you are. So this is why you need who you are and with whom you like to work with, because these are the two coordinates for your navigation system. And this builds this line. Then comes the next point, which is, what do you think? Type in the chat, what do you think is missing here? What could be the third thing when you know who you are and when you know with whom you like to work with? What could be the most critical thing to have a fulfilled business life? Because we want to have that in the end. We want to have fun. So the third thing is, how can you help them? When you know who you are, who you like to work with, how can you help them? How specifically can you help them? And there, the main mistake I see again and again, especially with my clients, with the coaches, they think like, I need to do what others do, like the successful, they do this and they do this. But this is a clear indication that you didn't dive deep into who you are. Because when you know who you are, you need to find how you want to help them based on your experiences. Because this makes the whole process, what Lee was telling us, the clarity, the commitment, the courage, the competence, way faster when you decide, when you take the clarity, what kind of experiences, know-how, knowledge I have already. You commit to it, you have the courage, but then the competence is already there because you pick something you have experienced by yourself. For example, if I started as a life coach 11 years ago, and I picked the first thing was, of course, avoiding burnout. I didn't have a coaching certificate at that time. I was just trying to offering my services, my help to avoid people to get there, because I thought I was there. I knew my way out, and especially more important, I realized how I get into that. So when I help people up front how to get into that, I will help them. And I was starting as a life coach with burnout prophylaxis. Was I competent from the beginning on? Yeah, well, sure, because I was there. I was not talking about theory. And this is all about coaching. We all are coaches. Even if you don't think, don't have a certificate, you are a coach already. How many of you have ever helped a friend to overcome some critical situations? Type in the chat, me, if you have ever helped a friend in a critical situation. Yeah, first me's are coming. Thank you. So, of course, would you define yourself as a coach at that time? Because maybe it was in a young age. Maybe not. Maybe you did. but actually you are a coach. You have been a coach at that time because you were already helping someone others to overcome a situation that this person was not able to handle by themselves. Why I'm telling you all this, especially with around this coaching, even if you have no idea about, if you have never planned to be a coach, but the key to have a fulfilled life is, in my experience, is there's nothing easier feeling good, feeling fulfilled. You just simply need to help others. When you help others, when you help another person, you will feel good. You will feel fulfilled, because then you start making this place, our world, a better place. So that's why my definition of having a fulfilled life, having a fulfilled life, but also having a fulfilled business, you need to have these three things, which are so key. When you know who you really are, with all your values, with all the things, and there's no right and wrong, it's you. You are not wrong. You are perfect as you are. So you need to be you. And you need to mind who you want to work with and how you specifically you can help them with your experience, with your know-how. It will be the most easiest way to start a fulfilled business, and it will be probably the fastest way to have a successful business on the long run, because we all seen so many people who are quite super successful in a short period of time, but then something happens. They get ill, something crazy things happens in their life. And this is normally a clear indication, like with me having a burnout, that something is not aligned. Because when I was changing from Austria to Germany 8 years ago, so I met my wife, she's German, I'm Austrian, and we met there and we shortly became parents. And so I needed to take a decision. And I took the decision that I stopped my 2 businesses in Austria. I moved to Germany, start 2 businesses at the same time again, and having 2 children within 15 months. So literally I had 4 children at the same time to raise, be the only guy who brings in the money in the family. And I was working a lot, but I was enjoying it, because every business I started, it's aligned with my values. Everything. I can work till late night. I enjoy it. I enjoy it more than watching Netflix, because it makes fun. It fulfills me. The way how I do it and the way what I do is fulfilling. So these are the key things you need to consider, and which I want to share with you, because I see so many successful people who fail after 2 years, 3 years of really having success. They were hustling, they were doing all this work, all the things you need to do, but they're probably missing the very first starting point, because they were starting not where who they really are and not focusing on that. And I want to share something, the last thing I want to share, because now you know what you do. The problem is to have the right mindset. So type in the chat if you like to know my mindset I use when I struggle, when I fail, because it helps me to move on forward. Because when all this courage part, what Lee was talking about, and also Kevin with this 1% hits, there will be obstacles, and you need to go, and you need to continue. So the thing is which this model helped me. This was a mind-blowing thing when I saw this the first time, and this is so easy. And so the key thing here is when you do take action. So you take some action, and there will be a result, because it is impossible to have an action without a result. So this is the normal thing which we all follow. We know, okay, cool. But now it happens, especially when you start a business, it might happen that the result is not that what I want. And then I think 80% of the people stop, because they say, I've tried it, I got this result. It's a sign. It's not for me, whatever. But what you can do to keep on moving, because there you become this 1, 2, 3% of the world, which makes you really successful. You need to shift your mind and say, this is not a result. This is feedback. And then you take the feedback, you set an action, which is you correct it, and then you took the action again because you corrected it. It's new. And when you do this, take an action, you get feedback, you correct it as you want to. What is the next best try? Do it again. And having this circle, sticking to that, not stopping this. To be clear, never ever stop this. When you have done the first 3 things correctly, all you need to do is doing this, continuing this circle. There is no other chance that you will not be successful. So this is the key where everyone gets loose, where it has to, you have to stick to it, you have to put momentum, you have to go, you have the courage. Stick to that cycle and go. Just go, have trust. When you've done the first things, there's no way to fail, because the first 3 actions, which is this is you. Literally, this is you. And you are perfect as you are. You are not a failure. All you need to do is taking action, seeing the feedback and correct it and take a reaction. When you do this, you will have a fulfilled life, you will have a fulfilled business. And I hope you enjoyed it. You take a lot off of it. Let me know in the chat if it makes sense. So type an S. If you have any questions, type also the question in the chat, and I'm here. I'm happy to answer for you.
Thomas, you are the main man. So loved all of that. I've actually written some notes as well about the how, the who, and the you. Love that. And I was just thinking back to when I done your challenge, I think at the beginning of the year. So if you guys watching, make sure that you jump on Thomas's challenge. When is your next challenge, Thomas? When's that happening?
August the 8th.
August the 8th. Okay, awesome. Have you got time for, we've got about 5 minutes till we get Jano on. Have you got a couple of minutes for some questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you are on Facebook, go to restream.io. You can connect your Facebook up to Restream, and then when you ask a question, we'll be able to see it, and I can pop your question up on the screen. So one of my questions is, what are the common sort of frustrations, pain points, challenges that you see in relation to this or the color that comes up?
So the connection was really broken right now. Can you probably repeat it?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. What's some of the biggest frustrations that you see with your clients that they have?
Especially when it comes to coaches, it's about having this certainty what they want to do. I see them so often doing things which modeling some other things, which is fine, but there's this lack of certainty that I can do it, and then they start to they hesitate with marketing. They have with showing up. They're having troubles to what I should really offer, how I can offer it. I don't know exactly what I want to do, and I need to find out. So all this uncertainty is the main struggle. And this is where also the challenge helps a lot, because in the challenge is a course creation challenge. You will know after these 5 days who you are, what you want to offer, and how to handle objections. So basically the main 3 things which holds them back, which they're telling themselves to hold them back.
Love that. Thank you for that. And say if there are people that are watching or like listening when we put it on Spotify, and they're like, oh, wouldn't mind being a coach. What sort of advice would you give them?
join my Facebook group, authenticcoach.live, because because there you get a lot of other advices from myself to get more stuff of me. The other part would be definitely don't worry about all the things you are talking to yourself right now. Find out who you are, who you want to be. Be this creator. Find out which kind of coach you like to be, and don't worry about certificates and all the other stuff. This is really not important. Not
brilliant.
It's important to help people in the end, but not important to start.
Yeah. All right, excellent. And what's the best way for people to get hold of you?
Yeah, definitely join my Facebook group. So again, it's authenticcoach.live. There you will get directly to the Facebook group. You're very happy. I'm very happy to welcome you there and to help you there. So I do regular lives there. You will get everything about my challenge, which is free. So the best point there, get in touch with me, authenticcoach.live.
Love it. I just want to say a big, massive, huge thank you to you for coming on, for giving up your time, for giving up your money, just giving so much value, and it's been awesome. I love every time that you teach and train. Appreciate you so much. What time is it where you are? So was it Germany?
It's Germany, and it's 11:30 p.m.
Oh man, I'll be lights out for me. I'll be like fast asleep. So yeah, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Thomas Jordan. So I'm just going to repeat the reason why we are here today, tomorrow, and Sunday is that we're raising money for 2 charities. So one is Rett syndrome. So Rett syndrome is a genetic disorder where at the moment it's an incurable disease. However, the doctors, the experts are close to finding a cure. When they do, then that is going to open up the doors to cure other diseases such as Angelman syndrome. So there's 2 super legends. We've got Brett Anslow. His daughter is called Holly, and I'll play a video a bit later. And we've also got Paul Yeo. His daughter's got Angelman syndrome, and those disorders are very closely linked. So that's why we're all here. So as a collective, there's about just under 100 coaches. We are going to raise a minimum of $5,000. And if you guys that are watching, that are tuning in, would love it if you'd be able to support as well and donate. So we're going to try and raise as much money as possible. And we've got so many coaches here that have got skills, knowledge, experience. And today, tomorrow, and Sunday's my birthday, then they're going to be sharing that with you. So it's like a big, massive free self-development event. All right, so this next guy, when you say like legend, he is a super legend. He's one of the nicest guys that you will ever meet, really humble, and he is someone that is a giver. So he will give and not expect anything in return. So I want to give a big, massive welcome to the Farmer's Mindset Coach, Mr. Bird, Mr. Shane Bird. Mr. Shane Bird. Shane, how are you, buddy?
Hey, brother. How are you? Can you hear me all good?
I can. I think there's a bit of a background or a feed. Have you got us playing in the background?
Hang on. Let me close my Facebook. Is that better? Is that any better now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah? Yes. Right on. We've got a technology guru. No.
All right. Firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to you for giving up your time to come on and just donate and just share. Because I know that every time that I listen to you, and you're just an incredible storyteller. So I'm really excited about today. Before we continue, tell us how you help
Yeah, so I'm the mindset coach for farmers. So basically exactly that, just with their mindset. I'm looking for ways to shift their way of thinking, looking for ways to understand how they think, but give them a different reframe on the thought or the meaning that they've given to an event. And how can we apply a different meaning to exactly the same event or to the same triggers that come up? Because people go, some people go, I just want to forget all the things from the past. Well, let's not forget them. Let's actually work out a way that we can give a different meaning to it, so that instead of going, instead of forgetting it because it was a traumatic or undesired event, let's go, how can I change the meaning to that event so I can use it as a way to serve me, to empower me to move forward? Because what that's going to do is it's going to make me a better person for everyone else in my life. So rather than really suppressing myself and holding back, I use those events, or I teach people how to use those events to empower themselves and step forward. Because if you're going to go into anything in life, you've got to be stepping forward. You've got to lean into the challenge, lean into whatever's happening in your life, so that you get forward momentum. Once you get the forward momentum, the rest is just going to follow through. Because like our unconscious mind has stored all our memories and everything. It's just a matter of, are you using all those memories and everything that you've got within you to push through any challenge in your life? And it's so easy for people just to go, it's too hard. It's too hard, because the brain's designed to conserve energy, right? In case we have to fight some sort of danger. So the brain will go, that's too hard. It takes too much effort. Just sit back, hold back, and don't do anything about it. But then we feel stuck. And then we feel like we're not achieving anything in life. So I'm all about empowering people how to use everything they've learned in the past, as well as learning stuff going forward, to be able to take action and crush any challenge that comes their way.
Bro, absolutely love that. I am going to leave you to it. See you very soon.
Oh, cool. I'm into it. So we're talking anxiety. You know, Dre asked me, hey, what do you want to talk about? And one thing that pops up a lot in my world with the clients that I see is they talk a lot about anxiety and how that sort of overwhelms and controls them. So first thing is, I want to dispel the myth that anxiety is bad. Anxiety is not bad. It's your response to it, right? And I'm going to share a couple of stories with you that's going to help you understand how you can shift your perspective and thinking around anxiety. The reason that it's really important to understand and embrace the anxiety is because anxiety comes up because there's a fear that something in the future is going to happen that's not going to go the way you want, and it's important for you to have that go that way. So the reason the anxiety is there is this little trigger to say, hey, look, you need to pay attention to this because something important is coming up and it's important you get it right. The anxiety pops up when the fear comes that we're going to get it wrong. So I'm going to quickly guide you through a quick process that I teach all my clients on my challenge about how to overcome anxiety. And there's a 3-minute, I've got a 3-minute process that you can use, which will overcome any kind of anxiety in any moment, so that you can then not be held up in your life. Like I mentioned in the intro, is not be held up, but identify what it is, step forward, lean into it, and then carry on with your life. So you get that momentum so you can stay in what's called flow, right? So 2 stories. First story, a young girl at a radio. I used to radio a lot. If you've been to a radio before, you've ever watched a radio, go ahead, type radio in the chat box wherever you're watching. But I used to radio for about 20-something years, and I was a radio bullfighter for 19 years. Now, throughout that process, I learned lots of different skills and abilities to be able to handle nervousness and stress and anxiety and stuff, right? But I was talking to a young girl once, and she was talking about, she was a barrel racer, young barrel racer, and she says, I get really anxious about rodeoing. Now, she's a pretty good barrel racer, there's no doubt about it, right? So, I said to her, what do you get anxious about? She goes, well, my horse plays up when I enter the arena, and my horse plays up when I'm running the second barrel. So if you don't know barrel racing, there's 3 barrels you have to run around in a certain pattern. And anyway, I said to her, so, how does the anxiety play out? And she says, well, on Thursday night, because radios are generally Saturday back in New Zealand, on the Thursday night, I start to feel the anxiety come up because I start thinking about my horse not, playing up to get in the arena, or not running the barrel, not running that second barrel cleanly. Okay, cool. So Thursday night it comes up. I go, what happens? She goes, well, I don't really sleep that well. I overthink it, and it's on my mind all night. And I go, okay, what happens next? She goes, well, all of Friday, if I'm at school or if I'm traveling to the rodeo, I'm just really on edge. I get the butterflies in my stomach. I get the sweaty palms. My heart rate is increasing more and more and more. I'm really on edge, right? Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, and then I go, what else happens? She goes, well, normally Friday night we arrive at the rodeo grounds, we set up camp in the truck, and I'm really on edge then because I can see the arena, I can see the gate, I can see where everything's going to happen. And she's really on edge and doesn't really sleep on the Friday night. Okay, cool. What happens next? And she goes, well, I wake up Saturday and I have all the butterflies coming up. My heart is racing. My breathing is increasing. I've got the sweaty palms. I can barely hold my reins. I've got a heightened state of awareness. Everything is really triggering me and all that. Right up until the point when she goes to go to to start her run. And then the anxiety is so overwhelming that she's on edge, the horse plays up, and generally the horse plays up a lot more, and it's just, it never goes well, right? So that's the first story. That's the story of the girl, the barrel racer, who had high levels of anxiety. Second story, I used to go to exactly the same rodeo. I'd sleep pretty well on a Friday night, but my body was giving me these signals that I need to be aware of something. So I'd get butterflies in the stomach because I'd be thinking, oh, I wonder what's going to happen in the arena today, because I was a rodeo bullfighter, right? So there's a lot of danger, there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknown that I know is going to happen on Saturday at the rodeo. So my body on the Friday night is giving me butterflies because it's the unknown, it's uncertainty. And I'm like, oh, interesting. That's just telling me that, you know, I'm about to go to a rodeo. Sleep all right on a Thursday night. Friday, I wake up and I start thinking about what could happen, what's happened in the past, how I'd handle the things differently. Like what Thomas said, take an action, get the result. If you don't get the result you want, is correct it, learn from it, right? So on Friday, I start thinking things that I've been run over, I didn't quite get to where I needed to be, and how can I improve that? So I've got the butterflies again, I get a little bit of sweaty palms, is coming up. My heart rate starts to increase a little bit on the Friday, and this set on the Friday night, normally drive to the rodeo. I normally stay in a motel or stay at a friend's or something, you know, run a few things through my mind, think about what was going to happen, how I was going to handle any kind of situations that would pop up, sleep all right on the Friday night. And then I get to the rodeo on the Saturday. Now I get the butterflies really flowing because I can see the arena, I can see the bulls in the yards, and my butterflies are really coming up. I get a heightened state of awareness, my heart rate goes up, my breathing increases, and I get the sweaty palms again, right? But I'm still all right. I'm not on edge. I just go about my business, I put my kit on, I get ready, and then I step in the arena, and all of those things, all of those senses go to 10 out of 10. But I'm still okay. I'm still calm because I know what's going to happen. Now, the reason I share the story with you is because it's quite simply this. Whatever your body is doing is giving you a signal to prepare you for what's next. Now, for the girl, she'd had a few moments in her life where the horse played up and she actually fell off. Maybe she tripped and fell on the second barrel. And she kept associating back to the moment that happened in the past, and it didn't go the way she wanted. So she kept focusing on how it went wrong last time. And what happened was, by putting more focus on what went wrong, you unconsciously lead yourself to produce the same behavior. Because energy flows where attention goes. And if you focus on something that's not going to go the way you want it, you're unconsciously giving energy and direction to yourself to produce that. Which means you're training your brain. Every time you have a thought, you're sending a message through your neural pathways to produce that outcome. Now, what was different for me was I was the days leading up to the rodeos and driving to the rodeo and being at the rodeo in the morning I was thinking about, yes, what had gone wrong, but what I was going to do differently to take me forward. How was I going to adjust that behavior? Like Thomas said, what was I going to do to correct it so that then I can get the desired result, to take the right action and then get a better result? So quite simply, wherever you focus is where you go. Where you focus is where you land. Now, some people might be thinking, hey, that's great, Shane, but I've just got a stack of all these unwanted memories that are associated to this one thing, and I can't stop thinking about them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a 4-step process, and I actually learned this from Ant Middleton in his book called The Fear Bubble, a 4-step process that you can go through to collapse anxiety in any moment. So if you'd love to hear that, go ahead, type in the chat box 4 steps, and I'll share the 4 steps with you on how to overcome anxiety, right? So I'm not sure how many people we've got on here, Dre. I'm sure there's plenty of people jumping in and out, but it's great to have you all. So the first step is going to be quite simply this. You must identify where the anxiety is or where the fear is. So even remove yourself from the word anxiety and go with the word fear, because anxiety is just fear of the future. So identify what's the fear, okay? Identify exactly where that is. So for the girl, the fear was only warranted at that point when she was entering the arena and on the second barrel. So let's just work on the first one, right? So yeah, the first time was actually when she was going to be entering the arena, because that was the only time that anything dangerous had happened, right? The Thursday night, the Friday drive, none of that was relevant. There was nothing fearful about that. So I said to her, okay, identify where the fear is. So the first one is you put the fear in a bubble. So I said, imagine a bubble around that point where that fear is going to be most warranted. And she go, okay, cool. And then I said, isolate it. So that's putting it in the bubble, right? So identify the fear, isolate it. It's the 4 eyes. The second one is isolate it, put it in a bubble, and then you know exactly where it is. Now, this is the key step, and this is where what I was doing differently when I was getting ready to fight bulls, right? The third step is imagine. Imagine the successful outcome. Now that's the key. The key right there is imagine the successful outcome of that moment. So for her, I'd say imagine yourself being calm, lowering your breathing, and imagine yourself riding comfortably and calmly, you and your horse, into the arena. Now, every time you do that once you train your brain to produce that outcome. So I said to her, you want to do this multiple times every single day. And this is how I learned to fight bulls. I would imagine every single situation that could possibly come up, no matter how dangerous or no matter how much chaos there was going to be. I'd imagine it coming up, and it would put me into a state of fear straight away just thinking about it. But immediately, I would imagine the successful outcome. How was I going to get in the gap? How was I going to make that line? How was I going to step over that rider? What was I going to do if he was hung up? Because when you imagine it, you unconsciously train your body to produce it, because the brain can't tell the difference between an actual event and an actively imagined event. It's why all the greatest pro athletes are as good as they are, is because of visualization. This is just visualization. So when you get this point where the anxiety comes up or the fear is triggered, you're going to go, your body's going to give you those responses. You're going to have the butterflies, you're going to have the increased heart rate, your breath's going to become shorter, you get the sweaty palms, you have a heightened state of awareness, among other things, right? They're the 5 big ones that normally pop up. So when you do that, you go, cool, I realize my body is sending a message to me now that something important is going to happen. Now, what am I going to do to get through it? Now, if we go to our state of anxiety, is we're not working out how to get through it. We're just worried about it going wrong again. So my invitation to you is imagine the successful outcome, so that when you then get into that moment, and the more you do that, when you get into that moment, your brain already goes, I know how to handle this. I've done it 100 or 1,000 times. I know what to do. And your brain will produce what your body needs. And your body will go into the right state, and it will make the moves, make the adjustments that you need to make, and get through that moment. So how do you do that? How do you imagine it actively? In neuro-linguistic programming and timeline therapy, there's a process called the anxiety removal. And quite simply, it's this. Now, I'll give you a short, brief version of it, but if you want an access to the, I've got a recording, it's a 3-minute recording, and Dre, I'm not sure if you can tee this up, but I can give you the link, and people can just message me and I'll drop the link to you, and it's just a 3-minute recording. But the shortened version of it is this. Imagine that you're in this point and you've got this anxiety on something in the future. I want you to then imagine that out in the future over there, and then say, okay, that's over there, that's when it's going to happen, put it in the bubble, and then just identify it. And I want you to then imagine yourself going out past the event. So go out into the future, go past the event and stop about 15 minutes past it, and turn and look back towards the event. And then as you do that, I want you to imagine the successful outcome. As you're going past, imagine it successfully coming out the way you want. And then as you look back, imagine what it's going to be like to have successfully done that. So with the barrel racer, I said, imagine yourself going out just past where you go into the arena. So I said 15 minutes there, but for her, it was going to be more like 3 or 5 seconds, because the next one was going to come pretty quick. And I said, just imagine yourself successfully riding into the arena, getting your horse in, you're calm and the horse is calm, and then you're ready to run the barrels. So she started doing that over and over again, not just on the day of the rodeo, but every single day. Like a great example, a great idea would be to set an alarm on your clock for every hour, where you just stop and take the 30 seconds to imagine the successful outcome of that. Anyway, when you do that, you're then training your body to produce the successful outcome. So you go out, you imagine the successful outcome, you go just past it as well, make sure you understand what it's going to feel like to have this successful outcome. And then you come back to now. And then you repeat. Go out and visualize it, and then come back to now. And what you're doing is you're training your brain to understand what to do in that moment. You're training your body to produce the outcome. And then once you've done that, it's quite simply a matter of then, once you've identified it, you've isolated it, you've now imagined the successful outcome, is now all you've got to do, the fourth I, is initiate it. And what does initiate look like? Is get to the bubble and just pop it. Imagine yourself popping it, step in. And this is where I said about leaning in, take that first step, go forward, step in with forward momentum, and then your body will flow. Trust the unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind already knows the way through. Anytime you're in any state of fear, just trust your unconscious mind, because you'll never be presented with a challenge or a situation that you can't handle. You wouldn't be able to perceive it as a problem or a challenge if you couldn't handle it. So it's really important to just step into it and lean forward and get that forward momentum. So this is exactly how I learned to become a bullfighter for 19 years, to the point where I was a 5-time New Zealand bullfighting champion, because I trained my brain. I didn't get in the arena every day. I trained my brain to produce what was required in whatever the wreck was, whatever the chaos was, whatever the situation was. And I just went over and over again. I did it from watching videos and then imagining myself doing it. So then it quite simply leads you to this. Everybody knows the fear acronym. I can't even say that word. The fear word thingy, where you've got the 4 letters and the 4 words. So most people think fear is forget everything and run, right? Forget everything and run, F-E-A-R. That's where the anxiety comes up. If you say to yourself, I'm anxious now, and you go, I'm going to forget everything and run, you're not going to be able to handle that again in the future. So that's anxiety. Some people will say, oh, I know one for when I'm nervous, which is face everything and rise, which is fine. That's nice, right? That's just nervous where you're a little bit on edge, not in a state of anxiety, but just a little bit on edge. So face everything and rise. But this is what I used to do. This is how I trained myself to fight bulls. I went to where I was saying, feeling excited and ready. So feeling excited and ready. Now, how did I get myself to the point of being able to be excited and ready? Quite simply, I trained myself to be able to handle any situation. I trained myself to handle those moments of fear. I trained myself to lean in, to step forward, to get that forward momentum, so that then when it happened, I was already excited and ready and going forward with forward momentum. So whatever you've got the anxiety on, I ask you this, what's the successful outcome of it look like? How can you unconsciously train yourself to produce the desired outcome? So when it comes up, you already know and you're not held up. You take that first step forward, you lean into it, and then you'll get the desired outcome. Now, those were a couple of quick examples around a sport, right? Other ways you can do it is you might have a conversation coming up with someone. I had a client the other day, actually had a conversation with a specialist around her son. She trained herself. She imagined the questions that she might be challenged with, where they were going to try and disregard or try and push them aside. She trained herself with those questions so that she had an answer ready to go, or a challenge question back for the specialist to make sure she got the desired outcome. So what is it that you've got the anxiety on that you can train yourself to have the desired outcome? I really challenge you to push yourself to do that. It's going to take a little bit of effort, but the effort is going to give you massive returns in the long run. Any questions? If you've got any questions, I've got, there you go, I've got 12 minutes left. How about that, Dre? I'm more than happy to take any questions from anyone in the chat box or yourself, mate.
Awesome, Shano. Oh, mate, you are a bloody legend. Just so much. Like every time that you share, just celebrate it, that you break things down. And I've written some notes as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are on Facebook, make sure that you connect your Facebook to go to restream.io and then you can connect it up. Ask us a question. We can see your face and see your question. So while we wait for questions, I've got a couple. For you, because I know that you see a lot of clients, what would be some of the biggest frustrations that you see with your clients? Are they like similar patterns, or are they looking a bit sort of left field?
Most of them talk about just a negative thinking. Like everyone goes, oh, I've got to stop this negative thinking. I want to be more of a positive mind. The words they use is negative thinking. And that can come from a number of different things. But the negative thinking, that very often leads to being in an anxious state. It leads them to thinking, oh, this is going to go wrong, or I can't get it right, which means in the future I can't get it right, or in the future I'm going to be wrong, right? So it's just that negative thinking which accumulates and then leads to some sort of anxiety or nervousness or overwhelm. Can lead to overwhelm as well. A lot of them are overwhelmed. I've got so much on and I'm anxious about getting it wrong, about which should I do, what decision should I make. Another big one actually, as I say, that is decision making. A lot of them hold back on making decisions because they're anxious about getting it wrong or they're nervous about getting it wrong. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing there, mate.
Awesome. Right, Dakota has a question.
Oh yeah, cool. I see that. What's the best way to help our clients Yeah, cool. Great question, Dakota. Great way is just to prepare yourself. Something I did was I would run the story that I was going to tell or the live I was going to do. I'd run it through my mind a few times. Okay. Now you might even like take a few notes and just write down the bullet points. You could say write out the whole thing, but then it's going to be too hard to follow. You want to identify 3 or 5 key bullet points that you want to make. So like your intro, how you're going to hook them, what's the information, maybe it's a 3-step process, and then how you're going to close it. Identify them, maybe write them down, just run them through your mind a few times, run the story through your mind a few times. And then once you've done that, it's just a matter of that fear point comes up, and I know this because you come up and you're about to press go live. You know, that's that one point where you've just got to take that one more step forward, lean in. I see Dre laughing because he's done the same, right? And then just press it, and then back yourself, back your unconscious mind. It is, you know, it's amazing what you'll come up with when you've got no way out. And going live, there's pretty much no way. I mean, you could stop and go, oh, hang on, I mucked that up, and then delete it. But let's be fair, if you muck it up, it's actually better. If you muck it up and take a couple of steps back, it's better because it shows you're a human, and it shows you're not a perfectionist, and it shows that it's okay to make mistakes. I mean, everyone in life wants to know that it's okay to make mistakes, and so many people think it's wrong to make a mistake that then the anxiety comes back up of, oh, if I get it wrong, I'm going to be judged, and oh, I'll be a failure, and all this other stuff. What will people say about me? It's okay to make a mistake. There's nothing wrong with that. Just come back, wind back. So if you go live and you get it wrong, just go, oh, hang on, guys, I did one the other day even. I've been doing lives for 2.5 years now, and I got halfway through, and I went, oh, hang on, I actually got all that wrong. Let me back up. Didn't worry me. So, yeah, mate, just run it through your mind. Maybe take some bullet notes, run them through your mind, run the story through your mind that you're going to tell, and then just go ahead and press that red button.
All right, love that. I think there might be a bit of a delay on my side. So, Shani, do you have dad jokes? I know you love dad jokes. Do you have a dad joke for us?
I do. Okay, don't judge me.
Wait, before you do that, question. Yeah. So, what would say if there's people that are watching or like listening? What advice would you give them if they're on the fence that they want to get into coaching? What sort of advice would you give them to people that want to do it but are a bit scared?
The first thing, the thing that really helped it for me was the neuro-linguistic programming, and you know, we've crewed together on trainings. I know you've done the training, Dre, and a lot of people here have. I would say go and do the NLP training, do the whole lot, do the practitioner, the masters, because that's what gave me the skills to be the coach that I am. I never even wanted to be a coach. I went to the NLP just for personal development, but I learned the skills and everything there, and I was like, wow, this stuff's too powerful to be selfish and hold it to myself. So if you want to be a coach, I would say go and do NLP first, and then, because what you're doing is you learn how you think, not what you think. What you think is causing the problem, but how you think has created the problem. And in NLP, you understand how you think, which means you get the skills to understand how other people think. Instead of someone going, oh, I've got this problem, what should I do? Most people go, oh, I'll try and solve it on a surface level. If you can understand how they think, then you're going to solve it on a much deeper level for them, and you're going to help yourself as well. So I would say anyone wanting to become a coach, if you have not done NLP yet, then most definitely get into the room, get the NLP training behind you. Super powerful.
All right, love that. And what's the best way to get hold of you?
Just look me up on Facebook. So Shane Bird, I know there's a lot of them, but you'll see a photo of me there. Or my Facebook group is called A Farmer's Mind Shift. So just Google A Farmer's Mind Shift in there and just request to join that. And I'll add you in, and you can be all part of my world and see all the stuff that I put out there.
All right, so it's about that time. All right, do you have like a dad joke or something motivational that you'd like to finish with?
I'm going with a dad joke again, Dre, like we did last time. So it's a two-phase joke. How do you make, I don't know did I tell you this? You might know this. How do you make a cat go woof?
No, I don't know this one. I don't know.
Soak it in diesel and throw a match on it. Woof. There's more. How do you make a dog go meow?
I have no idea.
Put it in the freezer overnight and run it through the bandsaw in the morning. Meow.
Wow, I was not expecting that. I know. Mate, I just want to say, absolutely love you to bits. Love the person that you are. How just, especially in our community, like if anyone's got a problem, you are the first person to put up your hand and help them. And Also coming on here today. So I really appreciate you, mate.
My pleasure, man. Anytime.
Awesome. See you later, mate.
Okay, thank you. See ya.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there might be a bit of a lag on my side. So if there is, I apologize. So we've got a couple of minutes before I get Noi SHANI out here. And I'll just give you guys a bit of a reminder why we are here over the next 3 days. Sunday is my birthday, but I'm not going to mention that. I won't tell you how old I am. So the reason why we are here is because we are raising money for 2 charities. So one is Rett syndrome. So Rett syndrome is a genetic disorder. Currently, it's an incurable disease. However, the doctors and the experts are close to finding a cure. Once they do, that's going to open up the doors to cure other diseases such as Angelman syndrome. And we've got in our community Brett Anslow, who's an absolute super legend. So he's going to be sharing some information, I believe, tomorrow at 5:30. Don't quote me on that. About the daughter, and Paul Yee Sunday night is going to be talking as well. So I can't wait for that. So yeah, we've got, I think we've got 96 coaches, 2 people who want coaches. So I think we've got someone in IT or works some mining estate agents. So they're going to be giving a masterclass as well. And then 2, I believe it's Nico and Sally, they're delivering 2 masterclasses as well over the next couple of days. So what I just love is at the beginning of the week, I was absolutely struggling. I think I had probably 30 or 40 coaches that had already booked in. And then I was just basically pooing my pants, just trying to get coaches in. And then last night we filled all of the spots. It was the way that everybody come together to raise money, to raise awareness, but also to share value. We've just got so many experts that have got, their skills and knowledge is incredible. So it's like a big, I love self-development. So it's like a big self-development. So make sure that you guys have a pen and a piece of paper. And yeah, all right. So if you guys are watching so I'm live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and live on LinkedIn. If you are on Facebook, connect your Facebook to Restream. So I believe the website is restream.io. Then you can connect it, and then you can ask us questions. You can put comments. It'll be really engaging. And let's get this next legend out here. So I've caught up with this super legend a couple of times. Just really, really nice guy. Really switched on as well. And I'm really excited about what he has to share today. So without any further ado, I want to give a big, massive, enormous Noi SHANI. Yeah.
Hey.
Legend. What a background. How are you, man?
All right, yeah. I'm been amazing. Yeah, thank you for having me, Dre.
Oh, man. You are so welcome. So, yeah, thank you for giving up your time, donating, contributing. And I love that you're a consistency coach. And that is where most coaches fall down, with consistency, not doing the things that they should be doing at the right time. So I'm not going to say anything. Are you all right if I just leave you with it and off you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to say before that I'm probably going to share what you are sharing from your page, because even though I connected it, it doesn't seem to go on my page. So I'm just going to be sharing real quick now as we start. Otherwise, I don't want to fiddle with all the
Are you using like a slideshow or anything?
No, I am going to use slides.
Are you using it like... Cool. All right, I'll operate in the background, with the screens, just so it looks cool.
All right. Okay. So just bear with me. I'm just hitting the share on mine. Just making sure that I'm all on. And then we'll get going. Amazing. Okay. All right. Got you. Okay. We are on. All right. So, hey, everyone. I'm going to start with something really fun. And you'll see in a moment, it's some kind of like a riddle. So I'm able to share my screen, right? So just a riddle to kick it off here. now that we got through with all the tech things. Here we are. Right, okay. Dre, can you give me a sign? You can see my screen?
Yes, we can, Legends. Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, so hey everyone. So first of all, I'm Noi. I'm so excited to be here. Sorry for this technical bloop, like right at the beginning. I wanted to kick it all off with something a bit fun. Some of you may have answered it already because I may have used that slide before. Some people I know from networking, but who I am is I am the consistency coach, and my brand name is called Freedom Lifestyle Creation. And this amazing pooch here on the picture on the right is my 2-year-old French bulldog Annie, and Annie is my personal support and cheerleader and everything. So yeah, like absolutely love him to bits. Go everywhere with him, well, as long as I can. And I wanted to kick off, like, I'm going to tell you what the answer is, but I would love if you can put in the comments, those of you that have access to the comments, what do you think that the answer for this might be? And Dre, help me out here if you see any comments, and I'd love to know what you are thinking yourself. So one of the statements is true about me, and the other two are false. So is it I was involved and arrested in the Manchester riots of August 2011? Or is it I was detained in a Russian airport in 2019 and questioned for being an MI5 agent? Or is it we had 3 unexpected issues on our Balkan trip in 2015, drove the car through a border illegally, got lost in the mountains, and the car got stolen? So, Dre, what do you think? What do you think is like the... Somehow it all boils down to getting in trouble, right? So which is quite funny when I've written that.
I
right?
reckon, I'm just waiting
What
for
would
some
be your
comments.
guess?
Yeah, I'm saying number 2. I reckon it was number 2. You were detained.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see if there's anybody else like right hot in the comment. If any, let me know. Wait just a couple of,
Yeah, I will.
maybe
All right,
like
we've
10,
got...
20 seconds.
Yeah, so Aslam, hey bro. He reckons that you were arrested in Manchester.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then we've got Youssef Tariq. He reckons number 3.
All right. Okay. So we have a wide range of all answers. Okay. Let's see. Do we have a majority before I move on?
All right, guys. What do you reckon? 1, 2, or 3? Just drop a comment in the comment screen, whether you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube.
Amazing. Right. I'll probably give them like 10, 20 more seconds to do that. So like the suspense here, everyone is like dying to know what was the answer. Like what?
I want to know.
Right. Okay. So I have to tell you, so I was involved in the Manchester riots in 2011, but I wasn't arrested. I was injured in those riots. I was chased by some thugs and the mobs, and I was in the wrong place, the wrong time. So it's semi-true. So therefore, it's false. And we had 3 unexpected issues in that trip. We had more than 3 unexpected issues. We did drive through a border illegally. We did get lost in the mountains, but the car never got stolen. We had a lot of other problems, but that never happened, which means, Dre, you are right. Okay. Should be sending you a postcard of me and Annie with a signature. Right. I was detained in a Russian airport near the Elbrus, the big mountain there in 2019, and a question for being an MI5 agent. So those of you that chose number 2, you are absolutely like spot on. I don't quite know if the viewers can see my face as I'm going to the slides, because I can't, but I'm assuming that you all guys like, with me.
Yeah, they can.
So just, okay, amazing. So just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Israel, but I'm actually based in New Zealand. I've lived in New Zealand for 2.5 years. As you could guess, since I had some stuff to do with the UK, I did live in the UK, in London and Manchester for 13 years before. This is my beautiful family here on the right, my wife on the left, my 2 brothers, my mom, my dad, my uncle, and my brother's wife. And this is the hometown I'm coming from. my football team, here with my best two mates, like we haven't won anything since 1983, and I was born in 1985. So been deprived of all of that. My background is very much from combination of IT, business, journalism, and sports. So I wonder if any of you, Dre, you probably know who that shirtless fella here on the right. So first of all, it's my wife and I. We got married in Camden on an amazing Saturday. That's me, the early years in England, in Old Trafford. And there's a hint here. Who do you think that fella is? The one without the shirt here on the right.
Cantona?
That's right. That's the legendary Manchester United player Ray Cantona when he came to Israel. Here is with one of my former staff members, my photographer. There was a beach soccer tournament. So I'm not going to go into all this detail, but those are some organizations I work for. I work for AstraZeneca as well as some other companies, written featured publications for the London Economic and the Sport Gazette, and I worked in the digital marketing industry before I became a coach. And what I want to speak to you about is quite an interesting. So I'm going to speak about something very interesting that's very close to my heart. And towards the end of this, I'm going to give you a hint. Like I'm going to give you like 4 or so steps that I used, and you can copy as well. So you can actually get to 6 figures or more in your business. And I'm talking from experience, something that done and tested. Many like people have done that, and if you implement that consistently, then you would reach that as well. So let's get going, right? So do you guys know the meaning of the word mesmerize? Mesmerize mean, that's a dictionary.com definition. It's to capture the complete attention of someone, transfix. And this fella here is his name is Franz Anton Mesmer. This is a picture from like the 1770s. It's probably not even a picture, more like a drawing. It's like it's so old, right? And the word mesmerize is named after him. He is the reason the word mesmerize exists, Franz Anton Mesmer. He was a very popular Austrian that lived in Paris. He was what now we called a hypnotherapist, exactly like me. But the difference is that back in the day, it was very different. He was very close to the French aristocracy. And Dr. Mesmer, as he was called, he used to treat people ailments and allow them to heal by doing what was really popular back at the time, which is bloodletting. That he lets the patient bleed by cutting through the vein, let them bleed, and then he used to go with magnets, not touching, but over, like with his hands, with magnets, just over the patient's body, and the wound would seal. The healing that he achieved was sensational. He had such like a high success rate. Everyone that was like important, and everyone that's like for themselves like a social butterfly of the time in Paris where he lived would go to see Dr. Mesmer. The bleeding would stop, and that would allow the healing to start. But once Dr. Mesmer actually forgot his magnets, and when Dr. Mesmer forgot his magnets, what he resorted to was a wooden stick. And then he noticed that the wooden stick does the same. So the wooden stick would actually, like when he slid the wooden stick just over the patient's body, the bleeding would stop. And he was like, whoa, I've got something here. And he made a big mistake. He claimed that the power of the healing comes not from the magnets, but from his hands. And all the medical community at the time absolutely hated him for that. They called him a fraud, and that he's a liar, even though he was healing people left, right, and center. There was like no doubt about that. But they didn't like him. He was like a competitor, Dre? Like the naysayers. So what would one do when they're really close to the French aristocracy at the time? He went to King Louis XVI, the King of France, and he said, probably not in these words, "Pal, I need your help. Those naysayers are after me. They, trying to stop me from doing what I love doing and I'm so good at. And can you help me out here?" And so the king said, "Yeah, sure." So he appointed like a committee, like a body like of an inquiry into basically to inform the public and everyone whether mesmerism, as it was called, and Dr. Mesmer are legit. And he put 3 people in that committee. And one of them was Benjamin Franklin, the American. And he's the one that concluded most of this report. And he's the one that said, almost a quote, I would say, this fella, Mesmer, I cannot see anything flowing from his hands. And therefore, Mesmer and mesmerism are a fraud. So he was discredited. He had to leave Paris. He continued practicing. But because of that, hypnosis was left out of modern medicine for over 200 years until 1985, just because of this. So it's huge. Now, there was research and people doing stuff like that, including version of his, and like there was some acknowledgement in the 1950s, like by the American medical board and all that kind of stuff, but it was still kind of like very like taboo until 1985, and definitely not accepted by doctors. Now people are referred to hypnotherapists by GPs, by doctors. Now, what it actually is, so this diagram, I hope you guys can see that. It looks a bit like a small ball. So in the awake state, there is a separation between the conscious and the unconscious mind. And that separation really doesn't allow for concept to kind of like, trickle in, right? But in the hypnotic state, there is no separation. There is no separation. And that basically is the bypass of what we call the critical faculty. So it allows the acceptance of selective thinking and thoughts and concepts and ideas that are okay by someone and consistent with their values. So unlike stage shows, and because I've been to one back in the UK, like the stage show hypnotist, they know who has unconsciously the value of being the center of attention. So they know out of 5 seconds of talking to someone, whether they choose them as a subject to be on stage or not, because they know that the show has got to be successful. So if they tell someone go and rob a bank, rather than just say to them like, pop on this chair and jump like a monkey, which most of them would because they have that value of being the center of attention, and they don't even know it, but the hypnotist know after 5 seconds, they will not go and rob a bank because that's against the value. So it's like nothing done to you, right? Like, yeah, nothing done to you. You're full control. It's a to do with process, not to do to process, and it's a natural like phenomenon. So Jay, help me out here. You know these phenomenons like being in a lift or elevator, as some of the Americans call it, driving. What do you guys think is like the common thing about like being in an elevator or a lift, driving, daydreaming, and watching TV? What do you think, Dre, is like the common between all those?
Or so being in tight spaces, that's what I'd say.
Yeah. So it's the fixation on something. So, when you daydream, you'll be like, looking like that at the ceiling or something. Driving, you get from A to B. You don't quite know how you got there, but you've driven that way 1,000 times, right? And being in a lift, have you ever had that, like you are in a lift and you're like, usually with people rather than just by yourself, but someone or even yourself would ask at some point, have we arrived yet? Is this a 7th floor? Is this a 10th floor? So those are basically natural state of trance. Watching TV, the fixation on that thing, the fixation, remember before? So that is basically hypnosis, just a phenomena of being in trance, which is all of us go into trance multiple times daily. So it's a completely normal thing. But what is it actually used for? Like in reality, so weight loss and pain control and quit smoking in one session, as well as other like related thing like getting rid of food craving and small bad habits in just like 15 minutes. Now, my speciality is actually the performance enhancement, which is increasing sales, action taking, output, and results, or which kind of like intertwines with helping mainly 30-plus-year-old executives and business owners to step up the game, overcome limiting thoughts patterns, limiting decision, negative emotion, obstacles, all that kind of stuff that's stopping people from getting where they want. And I have incorporated all of that in like a 10, 12 kind of session program I call the Success Alignment Accelerator. I'm going to. Do you think it will play the sound here? I guess it depends on the software. So just give me a cue, Dre, if that plays it, because that one is really short. It's like 20 seconds. Let me know if you can hear it. Could you hear that so far?
Play it again.
Right.
I can't hear.
You
I can't hear
okay.
anything. No.
I don't know if there's a way to do that. Okay. So right, if there, I might. Let's see. Right. Okay. Do you know like an easy way to do that?
Yeah. No, I've got an idea. So at the very bottom of the screen, there's the settings.
Yeah.
Can you see that? So if you click on settings, no, sorry, on share screen.
Yeah.
You know the share. If you click on the share screen button, then at
There
the
is
bottom
only
left,
stop sharing. Yeah.
It will say share system audio.
Okay. Okay.
And
yeah.
then if you tick on that, so very similar to Zoom.
All right. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I had to step out of it like a second, so I'm able to do that. We'll all figure it out. Oh, I see.
Man,
Share system audio.
Loving the presentation.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Cheers, buddy. I hope the guys are enjoying it as well. I've got it dialed in now. So, right, I'm going to kind of like, now it should work. If it doesn't, we'll just like move as is.
It's playing very, very faintly, very faintly.
Right. I'll just talk you through what he said. So this one of the guy, Jordan, we did a performance enhancement with him. So about going out there in his business, couple of therapy sessions about how to enhance his performance so he can go really out of a cannon. And he was sharing with me very shortly after how he's like, that man is on fire and been on fire like ever since. So it's about sometimes doing the mundane that it could look like at times, or the thing that people want to, or maybe resist doing, I would say, but they know that they should be doing. So stuff like that. Usually what it results, if people don't do that, is overthinking, analyzing, procrastination, and then no action and no results, right? So that's an example. I'll skip that because just in case it's not going to work, so we don't waste our time. So that was one of my other clients about the bigger program that I'm doing that with hair, like literally complete change in the physiology and everything. But actually, one of the things I'm most excited about, I wanted to give your viewers and everyone that's here some kind of like an insight into what steps they can take today they can use it to hit 6 figures in a business or get something off the ground or a project. So it doesn't have to be like a monetary thing, but those are a couple of the steps that I took, and actually pretty much in that order, in order for me to hit 6 figures in my business, right? So just to say here at the top, I'm working with CBM, which is a lovely charity, and 10% of what I do net goes to them. And I'm really proud and happy about what they do. So like demystifying performance, because everyone wants to know how to step into that kind of level of performance that is only reserved for the very few. And a lot of those steps that you're seeing here look like common sense, but they are the same kind of steps that are used by top athletes that some of my mentors is using with top medal winning athletes from Australia, that they are so high up there that he cannot even disclose the names. So it's the small thing that make the most difference, right? That most of us just kind of like brush to the side or say, oh, we'll deal with it later, or this is just like a small thing. It's like that's the difference between the 80% to the 90 to the 100. So you want to be actively engaging in ways to regularly and proactively eliminate negative emotions and limiting decisions. So yeah, that's one of the things I do with my clients, like very proactively. We completely destroy that. But some ways you can do that is just, for example, by getting your gaze up, and you'll have temporary relief from any negative emotions, because there's no emotions when you are looking up. right? Because the brain accesses the visual system. So it's about, it could be journaling, it could be through meditation, it could be, there's a lot of things that could be part of that, right? But like literally doing it, not like, I'll be blunt and I would say not lying to yourself that you're doing it, like literally doing it. And also not shying away from the fact that some of that you discover an extra layer that you may have worked on something, and then you figure out, oh wow, like that's still there because now I can get in even deeper and destroy it even more deeper at the core. Because a lot of people think that once they do something once, they are done deal, and that's like one of the biggest mistakes one could have. So by actively doing that and then realigning your values, what that looks like, you want to get a glimpse of what your most unconscious values are. And one way you can do that is by asking yourself and writing down, I would say, what is important to me about my career? What is important to me about money? Whatever area you're choosing, romantic relationships, etc., etc. So start writing down what's important to you and then even rank it. Yeah. So that's also part of what I do, like with people. And then you want to create an extremely attractive scene of what you want the most, whether that's an event, like a one-off. You can think about sports like as a competition or a match or a game, but also calling people or speaking to people or going out there, or putting yourself out there and doing the thing that you haven't done, even if you've never had that, by actually constructing the image of everything you are seeing and hearing and feeling and everything you are saying to yourself in your own head in that situation, like the empowering situation. You are creating strong connections in your brain. And by doing that, the more you do that and train yourself to do that, then the better your results will be. And then the last one is give yourself a kinesthetic experience. Now, what that means, because it's quite jargonic, right? Giving oneself a kinesthetic experience is like, it's very important that you choose the right lingo when you are wording something, right? Dre, the viewers, like, have you ever had like something that a word that you use that you knew that you should do something, but it sounded like maybe like boring or like difficult or something like that? I had the same relationship with the word routine. Does that ring a bell? Like the word routine, when most people, and even I, when I'm saying the word routine kind of comes like with heaviness, like routine is kind of like, oh, have to do, or, you know what I mean?
Yes, no, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Routine's a bit of a boring word, but it's
right.
consistency, same thing day in, day out.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it comes with all this like bag of emotions usually about like, routine, it's like a thing I have to do, it's like a chore, right? Now, and again, it's the small stuff. By reframing it for myself, and instead of calling my daily routine my daily flow, a whole world of different opportunities has opened up for me. It's one word that changed freaking everything. So literally, I've done it by the order you're seeing here, actively engaging. And that is kind of like a recurring thing that from time to time, every week or two or so, I actually go and I find something else that is a negative emotion or limiting decision that I can bust. And I go and do that. I've realigned my value every couple of months. I go and do that. So it's a recurring thing, creating an extremely attractive image. And then when it's fulfilled, you have to create a new one, because otherwise your brain thinks you finished and then you'll drop. Your performance will drop, right? By creating really strong connections with certain words and replacing certain words with others, like you actually replacing the feelings you will have in your body, the sensations you will have in your body. So for me, in that example of changing routine, by calling it everywhere, like printing it out, like putting on the fridge, whatever that may be for someone else, you are actually reframing it for your unconscious mind. And then you will have different posture, you'll take different actions when you're actually doing that. So watch and see. Like, and one thing I didn't put here, the other thing is tap into the community that you have, whether that's doing some mocks or practicing with them and stuff like that. That's also super important, and something that I've done with people. I would say along with those 4, literally, I followed that to the T. And some of them are always work in progress. You always find another layer of the onion. And those will get you to whatever goal that you want. There's no doubt about that. The name of the game is consistency. And that's one of the ways to unleash it.
Noi, you are the main man. That was so informative. Absolutely love that. So yeah, thank you for coming on, sharing that gold. What's the best way for people to get hold of you?
Thank you so much, buddy. First, to have the opportunity to speak to everyone and share the love and share the knowledge. So people can find me on my Facebook profile if they search me, just my name, Noi SHANI, and they will be able to find, there aren't that many people with my name, so they'll be able to see the consistency coach and hypnotherapist. And I also want to say and add that on my profile, I have a free group that's consistently growing, and I give this 5-step blueprint, which is like only like a 1.5-page guide of how to do this sort of like very high level and very successful visualization that gets people the result. So when you're joining the group, you have a chance of claiming that for free for you. So yeah, so by joining the group, you get access to that.
Absolutely love it. Right, thank you for that. All right, so do you have, this is the final question, do you have like a dad joke or something motivational, inspirational, something of value that you'd like to leave us all with?
I wish I was as funny as Shane, like, dad joke. I don't have a dad joke.
Or like a famous quote. Do you have like a quote that you love, or that or like a
what
saying,
resonates with me, and perception is projection. Like, it's a very Carl Jung thing. Perception is projection. So it's very deep, I know. So everything that you think about another person or your view of another person is basically gets back at you as the mirror to what you are disowning in yourself, or the thing that you have not accepted in yourself, or that thing that you're resisting in yourself. So if you find yourself, that's my tip for everyone, you find yourself saying, oh, this person annoys me, and this, you have to look, then it's not a finger like pointing or anything, like point the finger in a constructive way, like, where am I presenting that behavior that I get triggered at? And you would find, the shadow one. Yeah, I see one of the users, like, exactly that. It's like the shadow where you haven't this like completely accepted yourself. And just I'll finish up with, I'm also doing, Dre, this thing now. Anybody that connects with me, like first 5 people, I'm doing this like super like laser sharp like breakthrough session when I'm resolving a problem, including could be like a niggling one, for completely free of charge. So first 5 people that see that, once the spots filled, they're gone, can come to me, and we'll walk it out, set up completely free of charge, walk out stuff and get you a breakthrough in an area that's important to you, and yeah, get you going.
Awesome. You said free of charge. That is unbelievable. Yeah, thank you for offering that.
My pleasure.
Noi,
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Just want to say, yeah, no, thank you for coming on, your contribution, giving up your time, sharing just absolute gold. Yeah, thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. So I will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, brother. Yeah. Have a blast with everyone else.
I cut you off.
I said just thank you, brother, and have a blast with everyone else, and see ya. All good. Yeah. Right.
That was awkward. I was like, oh, what did he say? What did he say? All right, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what an incredible morning that we've had. So we had Kevin Raymond, then we had Lee Smith, then we had Thomas, then we had Shane Bird, then we've just had Noi, and one of my favorite humans in the world, Katie G. So I've known her probably for about 15, 16 months. She doesn't actually know how important she is to me. So whenever we do like NLP, so whenever I've done NLP maybe 4 or 5 times, and I've crewed with Katie a couple of times, and she is just a bundle. It's really, really switched on, really smart, and she's just a bundle of joy, just her vibe, her energy. Like you'll see like when she comes out. So love her to bits. And she is the wellness rebel. And I'll get Katie to tell you what she's going to be talking about today. So make some noise, get excited for the one and only Katie G.
Oh, Dre. You know what? First of all, I was hoping you weren't going to just cut me off. But second of all, I didn't realize. Thank you so much for sharing that love.
Yeah.
I appreciate you and love you dearly too.
Yeah, because I was thinking last night and this morning, like all the speakers that we've got are just incredible and phenomenal. And you've got a special place in my heart. So I appreciate you so much. All right, I'm just going to leave you to it. So you do your thing, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, see you on the flip side. Oh my goodness. Hello, each and every one of you. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is my absolute honor to be part of this today. As Dre said, I am a wellness rebel. And so for me to be joining in this charity event where we're helping raise money, awareness for Rett syndrome and also Angelman syndrome is absolutely so near and dear to my heart. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a mindset coach for wellness, and I have been living alongside the condition of type 1 diabetes for almost 36 years. It gives away my age, I know, right? However, I really know what it's like to live with a condition that is 24 hours. I really understand some of the challenges that come across when it comes to living with something that is what's seen as out of the ordinary. So for me to be here today, for me to share what I'm going to share with you about mental detoxing and claiming back some of your power and your energy, because here's the thing, I'm going to share a couple of stories with you and some information in hope that you can share this with someone else that you love, that you know may be suffering with something, or just something that you may be able to take on yourself. Because one of the biggest things that I found throughout living alongside the condition of type 1 diabetes is the mental load that it takes. It's the mental toughness that you have to have. It's the mental resilience that you want to work on in order to get what you want in life, because we are never defined by our past or our condition that we're moving through. We are defined by the human who we choose to be. And so for me, I know Dre from NLP trainings and Coach Shane Bird as well. And when it comes to looking at how can we support ourselves, how can we move forward, it's about how do we get that mental resilience? How do we detox some of the things in our lives that aren't maybe serving us? And I just want to share with you the reason of the wellness rebel. Now, throughout my life, I've had multiple things happen, and it's been about how do I maintain my thinking? How do I make sure that my mindset is at a level where I can take on anything in the world? Anything in the world, anything that's thrown at me, I can take it on. And now a lot of people have this idea about a rebel being someone who just says, F you to the world, F you to all the rules. But the truth is, for me, is this is about challenging your beliefs. This is about challenging what your perceptions are. This is about challenging your choices and becoming the rebel for what you want. Right? It's about stepping into that version of you who goes after the truth for them. Because as we know that if you have known someone or you are someone that's living with a chronic illness or that has had an illness of some sort, we get given a lot of information about how life should be. We get given a lot of details about what the general norm is for everybody. However, the truth is that we get to take on what we choose in that. Now, having diabetes from when I was 4.5, there was not a lot of awareness for me in that space, because being 4.5, you just do what people tell you to do. And as you grow up, you just do what people tell you to do, and you believe what people tell you to believe, and you take on their perceptions, you take on and you borrow their belief systems, because right now, currently, maybe you just don't know what you don't know. And my challenge moving forward, or my invitation to you moving forward, is to question everything. Write that down. If you're here, write it down. Say it to someone beside you who you love. Say, challenge everything, question everything. Because being a rebel doesn't mean you have to walk around with a big sign that says, I'm against everything. Being a rebel is just choosing your direction. Yeah, challenge everything. Challenge everything. And challenge your own beliefs at the same time. Is that true for me? Now, I get on a little bit of a rant, but I want to share with you a story about how we can mentally detox, because this load that comes through for us as we've gone through life, whether you are someone with an illness, whether you're just a human wanting to be a better human, is we have this load of information. Maybe it's a load of emotions. Maybe it's a load of beliefs. Maybe it's just a load of things that you've heard from other places, perceptions, other people's ways of thinking, and you just haven't come to that point of finding your own. And this load is like the compound effect. I'm sure each and every one of you has heard about the compound effect, where we just keep loading and loading and loading and loading. So when it comes to our mindset, when it comes to our health and wellness, when it comes to healing, we really want to make sure that what are we taking on, and is that load ours, and do we even need it? And this is where the mental detox comes in, because in the health and wellness space, we know that we hear all the time, and it starts around now, about detoxing, going through and doing a green juice, going through and doing a cleanse, going through and doing a detox. And we think about it from the physical level, right? We think about it from the physical level. And yes, we absolutely need to work on our physical level. We also, as we've said, we've heard some of the business coaches saying it's 80% mindset. I think it's more. I think it's 90%. And so is your health and wellness. There is so much evidence out there around how can we use our mind to heal emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, relationships, all of those things, is that it comes down to what's the mental load that we're carrying. What is that energetic mental load that we've got on us? Now, I like to think of it like this, is that in Sydney right now, I know that there are a lot of people who it's still raining. It has been so wet here in Australia that people are just done with the rain. And when it comes to having lots of rain, what do we have to do with all our laundry, all our washing? You start to hang it inside, right? Move to the Gold Coast. Dre, you're so funny. We start hanging it inside. We might start having to hang it in the room where the heater is so that it dries. We might have to start hanging it in our bedroom. What happens though when it rains day after day and this washing? Or maybe if you're from the UK, I hear it's pretty cold and miserable sometimes over there too. And you just all of a sudden have all this laundry hanging inside, and it clutters up your house. It clutters up that room. You got to kind of fight past things to get to it. You might have, I don't know what you call them anywhere else in the world, but we have these like clothes dryers, and they air the clothes and you just hang them on there. You got to step around it. You've got to move. Our mind is the same. If we have all of this baggage on the inside, if we're stuffing that down, now I used to be a stuffer. Yes, I used to be someone who would push my emotions down, who would push my beliefs down, who would push my opinions down, who would push my thoughts down. And what happens is your room starts to get really clogged. There's stuff everywhere. And if we don't take it, I don't put it away, put it where it needs to be, or throw out the things we don't need, the clutter just gets more and more and more. And so what I invite you to think about is, how often do you actually declutter, detoxify your mind? How often do you do that? Because a lot of the people who come to speak with me have a lot of things going on for them mentally and emotionally. And all it is that they've got some things hanging up in there that maybe need to be taken out. Maybe just like a normal detox, there's things that we have to remove if we're going to do the physical detox. If you've ever done one before, right, type in done if you've done a physical detox, so a food detox. And you have to take certain things out. There's certain things that they say don't put in your body. Then they say there's certain things you need to put in your body. They also say that there's some supplementation that you need to use. There's some movement. But what I want to ask you is, how often are you thinking about, well, how do I do that with my mind? Because it's all good and well, and I say we need to take care of the body. It's not that I don't. What I'm saying is, how often do you do it with your mind? And here's a new idea. maybe you might like to choose to take on is that we need to detoxify our thinking daily. We need to detoxify our thinking daily because we are given so much information from the external world. We are exposed to 11 million bits of information. 128 of those is all we take in each moment. And so some of those things that we're taking on are not serving us. And so when it comes to our thinking, when it comes to detoxifying, we need to start to think about 5 key elements. So I just want to share here with you. Oof, look at that. I want to share here with you, there's 5 things that when it comes to detoxing, that we want to take away and we want to put back in. And so the first step is we need to get real with where we're at. If we're going to detox our mind and we're going to start to clear that out, because when we have so much incoherence and so much busyness in our mind, we actually become resistant and we become incoherent, which creates room for dis-ease in the body. So we need to get real with where we're at. No fantasy, no pretending that it's better than it is. Just be real with it. It's just data. It's just data. Write that down. It's just data. It's just data. So the first thing we need to do is get really real with ourselves. The second thing that we need to look at, and it doesn't have to be in this order, but the second thing that we really want to look at is, okay, what's the next step for me? And the next step for me is to release. We need to release some of the things, right? What do we need to take? Oh, that's back the front. Oh, that's a shame. We need to release those things. Let me take that off. We need to release those things. We need to go, cool, well, what is it that I don't need? Then we need to think about, okay, great. If I don't need those things, what do I need? And so you start to put in the information, the data, the food per se, that you want to take in. So what music are you listening to? What TV shows are you watching? What are you actually focusing on? Shane Bird said before about where your attention goes, your energy flows. Where your intention goes and attention goes is exactly what you're going to get more of. It's exactly what he's saying. And so we want to make sure that what are we actually focusing on? We also want to take into consideration of what do we need to do to recalibrate? Maybe there are some decisions that need to be made. Maybe there are some things that need to be closed off in order to move forward. And then the last R is to replenish. How do you actually replenish and give your mind that break? Now, we all know the basics of getting rid of our phone. We all know about turning off the news. We all know about limiting where we're at in what we're observing and taking in from the world. You know, in my house, we don't watch the news. We don't listen to the news on the radio, very rarely. I also make sure that my phone is away at certain times because we need to give our mind a break. If you are a business owner and you're watching this, one thing you can do for your health and wellness in your business is give yourself some green time. Now, I heard this information given from my brother who did it in his business, but he's having green time, which means that you have time where you are not thinking about work, business, or anything to do with it. That means no reading, no on your phone, no emails, no client conversations, nothing, to totally reset. But the one thing I want to take with you today is really looking at, okay, the external, we already know, we're just not living it. Because when it comes to us, I was just about to draw. You saw me step in, I was about to draw. When it comes to this, when it comes to us looking at how can we detox to get more energy, get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, but most importantly is your linguistics. The thing that will keep you stuck the most is the words that you are using to define your experience, to explain where you're at, to justify what's going on for you. The simple act of looking at your words and becoming the observer of what's going on in your mind is going to free you up. A lot of people who come to me don't even realize that the words that they're using are keeping them tangled. The words that they choose to explain what's going on. For example, I am a diabetic. No longer do I use that because diabetes is not my identity. That's a heavy load to carry. I'm moving through the condition of type 1. I'm moving through the condition. Yeah, if I get a cold, I'm moving through a cold. I have a cold takes ownership. So we need to really look at, okay, cool, what's the language that I'm using in order to define my experience and create meaning in it? When we start to really focus in on this, this is going to lighten the load so that you can take on more of what you need, because we want to really know what the truth is. The stories that our mind can tell us are sometimes old stories from the past. They're old things from past experiences. They're old things that we have used to define who we are today. But what I want you to do is absolutely decide to design your future. Because the key to getting more energy, the key to having more of the things that you want in life in order to have the health that you want, so you can do all of the things, is to be able to leave defining from the past and design the future. Because the more that you live in that truth of who you be at a soul level, the more energy you will take on, because you're going to start to speak your truth, not a story from the past. You're going to start to look for what you want, not from what has been. You're going to start to be that version of you that you know is already hidden underneath all of that laundry, right? You just got to take the laundry off so that you can breathe again and take in that full breath of power of who you are. We're going to stop apologizing for things, and that in itself will give you more energy. So when you start to really filter through and start to detox, what are the ways you need to detox? The first thing you need to do is become aware of the words that you are speaking. Become aware of those words, really become aware of them. What are the words that I'm saying that are disempowering me? Next thing I need to think about is, cool, well, okay, how do I activate it? How do I want to feel instead? What direction do I want to head? What direction do I want to head? Cool, that's the direction I want to go. Number 3 is then we need to decide and actualize it. So if you're using a word, because your thoughts and your feelings and your actions create your reality, look at those words and think, what else could it be? Actually, ask yourself this question, write it down. What else is possible? Oh, I've got all this shit to do. Oh, cool. Okay, what else is possible? I've just got to focus on my next step. Shift and change will give you more energy. Start to come out from underneath the laundry and into that space. And so start actualizing it. And the more you actualize it, the cool thing here is the more that you are going to absolutely automate that in your nervous system, automate that in your neurology, automate that just into your life. Now, is it simple? Yes. Is it easy? No, because we've been living so unconsciously. So to mentally detox, we need to really pay attention to what it is that we are thinking. And we do this on a day-to-day basis, guys, because this is just a lifestyle. It's not a 7-day detox. It's not a 10-day get your mind ready for summer. This is I want to live my greatest life. I want to be the healthiest version of me. I'm going to do it my way. And absolutely choose to do it your way, because once you start untangling that, you're going to start to notice the freedom you have to choose. Excuse me. And when you start to notice that freedom you have to choose, oh my gosh, everything just seems to start to line up for you. Your wellness becomes better. Your well-being becomes better. Your energy is better. Your mindset is better. Your physical body will be better because you've lightened the load. You've put the laundry away. You've thrown out the things that no longer fit you, right? Just whoosh, toss them out. Toss them out. Because we want to remember, we want to leave behind what we've defined, and we want to design what we want for the future. And so daily work on this, daily clearing out. Now, before we leave, because I could talk about this forever, but before we leave, I want to give you the most profound tip that I was given for the daily on how to keep the momentum going. And so here it is for you. If you have someone in your life or something happen in your life or something that you might hear that you don't want to take on as real. We've had people speaking about hypnosis already. If you want to make sure that you are keeping your vessel of your mental wellness, your energetic wellness clear, if you hear something that you don't want to take on, you hear something that doesn't serve you, you hear something that maybe you think, oh, I don't want to believe that, then you just say one simple word inside your head, because I've said it out loud and I got myself in trouble, but is the word delete. Delete, 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 and your unconscious mind will delete it and not take it on. So someone will say something like, for me, it was, you will get diabetic complications. And I remember looking at them and in my mind saying, delete, 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 delete. I will not have that as my truth. I will not. And I just stand true in that. That's the rebel in me, right? That's that rebel coming out. It's like, sorry, delete, 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 delete. Take that on. Take that with you today. And I'd love to know if there's anything of value that was there for you. Type in the chat for us so that we can share it with others. Guys, thank you so much for having me on. I look forward to seeing the rest of the people who are coming forward in our masterclass series over the next 2 days or 3 days with Dre.
Somebody call Harry Potter, because that was just magic, absolute magic. Katie, what a way to end like the morning session. So yeah, thank you. Right, we've got, you got some time? We've got about 7 minutes until I need to go on over to see Beth Bergam. So man, I've made a couple of notes. When you said green time, because I know as coaches, as business people, it is very hard for us to switch off. And you were like, don't do anything, don't read a book, don't. I'm like, okay, is that the first thing that came? Is that just, are we meditating? Like, what's the, because I can imagine, especially for me, not doing anything. Is that just sitting and being, or is that just going for a walk, or is that,
Yeah, great question, Dre. Absolutely. So the green day is, you can have, there's a number of ways we can look at it, right? So when we're a business owner, we are on the go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't stop thinking about our business because we're passionate, right? I know for myself, I will read Dr. Joe Dispenza. I have quantum physics. I have health and wellness. I have all of these things. But what a green day is about taking time out from all of those things that are business related. So you can still go to the park, you could go for a walk, but what you want to do is allocate time in your month, in maybe your week, where you have this green time. So this green time is where you can start to flourish, water your grass. Instead of watering all your clients' grass, water your own, because we need to keep, number one, our energy up, but we need to keep our mental fitness up. We need to keep ourselves so freaking strong in what it is that we're doing. So making this time for you. Now, some people tend to do a full day. And what does that mean? That means a full day from 12 p.m. till 12 p.m. the following night, where you actually don't do anything business. Still wash up, have breakfast, do all those things, but there is no work-related stuff. Some people, they go, I can't do that, Katie. I can see Dre's having like maybe a conniption.
Yeah.
What it means is you might actually say, okay, there's going to be a 6-hour period where I have no phone, I have no email, I have no notebooks, I have no calendar. I just go and be. What being is for you is dependent, right? It might be to go and meditate for a while. It might be to go for a walk in nature. It might be just to go for a drive somewhere and go on a hike and leave it all behind, but purposefully taking that time out of your business, purposefully putting things down and going, I'm not even going to think about it. That means there's no conversation. So if you have a partner, that means no conversations around business. It's like total business pushed to the side. Does that make sense, Dre?
It does. I thought for a minute, I thought you said 6 hours. You said 6 hours, didn't you? 6 hours of green time.
Yes, you could have 6 hours one day. You could have a week of green time if you want to. If you want to work 3 weeks straight and then have a full week of green time, you can do that. It's really, when it comes to us running our business, we want to do it our way. And so it's about coming up to what's going to work for your business, what's going to happen. Brené Brown, you can see that she will work her backside off for a certain period and then she goes AWOL. And she even says it on her social media. I'm going to the mountains. I'm going to do this. I will not be here. And so she goes and actually takes that whole time to be without any business. So really it's about finding what works for you. If you're in startup and you're in that space, maybe it's about finding 3 or 4 hours for you to start with, where you are not having it, because we can tend to then make it a habit. And so it just becomes habitual, not a necessity. Does that make sense? And you're going to be better when you come back anyway. You're going to be fresh, clear, energized. You can go and meditate if you want. I meditate daily. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing for your mental health.
Yeah, totally agree with that. All right. So, 2 more questions. What's the best way to get hold of you?
Yeah, best way to get hold of me is to jump in my Mind with Medicine group. I'm an advocate for using the Mind with Medicine. Come and join me there.
Okay. All right. And last question, my favorite question. Do you have a dad joke, something inspirational, something motivational, something of value that you'd like to leave us with?
I'm not going to add in, well, maybe this might be of value to someone, but I have a dad joke. Super corny, but I am ready to share this. Dre, I've been looking forward to this. Yeah, and it is.
Me too.
How many tickles does it take to make an
That is corny.
10 tickles. It's the worst, right? I love it. I love it though. Look at us smile.
Katie, oh man, you are just an incredible human. Like, thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for coming on, giving up your time. Thank you for like the value, like the notes that I've made is just I want to say MasterCard, priceless, absolutely priceless. So you go and have an amazing day. I appreciate you. I love you, and yeah, we'll catch up really soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dre. Have a great day.
Yeah, will do. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Katie is the best. What an incredible lineup that we have had this morning. It's been absolute fun. It's been fire. So I'm about to wrap up this session, and in about 3 minutes time, we're going to be jumping on with one, the only Beth Bergam. So guys, go and grab yourselves a cup of tea, coffee, some bickies, and the live stream is going to start again in a couple of